I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk.
All right. Happy Hump Day.
Mike.
You are live on 1620 The Zone. Also on 1620 The Zone TV. We look beautiful today. The app, the website, X, wherever you can find us. Good morning. Good Wednesday. Gary and Matt. Jake is in this morning. How are we doing?
You're doing incredible. It is an incredible Wednesday, even though I'm ticked off.
Okay. Well, let's don't be negative today. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa, no.
It was ticked off Tuesday for you yesterday.
Yeah, but that was Tuesday. Today is Wednesday.
Well, why can't I have a day?
Because it doesn't roll off your tongue. If you wanted to be ticked off, you could only have one day a week. It's Tuesday.
Remember,
we don't want to be negative 1620 The Zone. We want to be positive. So I'm going to look at the brighter side of life because I think I know where you're going.
Why did no, I'm not. I'm definitely not mad for the reason that you're mad. I'm mad for my own in particular reason. I'm pissed off at Netflix.
Why?
Because I bought a new Netflix account, okay, for myself because I can't do the whole mommy and daddy buying Netflix, right? Because a new household.
Baby host is growing up.
Okay.
Another step in the development.
Put
it on the board. Yes.
All right, Hawk. So two months ago, I buy this Netflix account, and you told me about the SEC Netflix series, right?
Yeah,
Any Given
really,
Saturday.
Really good. Really
and
good.
I was really looking forward to watching it, and I go ahead, I log into my Netflix account. Apparently, I'm not in the right household, even though I bought this new account. And so now this whole IP address, BS is screwing me up. And even though I'm paying now $7.99 or $6.99 or whatever the hell it is a month to get my own Netflix, I can't watch the things that I want to watch. All right. This thing has gone too far.
It took you that long to log on to Netflix after you bought it?
No. I've been logging on to this thing pretty consistently and using it. And now I can't use it. Now it's saying that that my account doesn't belong to this household or whatever.
Yes, that's the screen that I get. And
but
then
it does.
But there's a workaround.
What's the workaround?
Well, I share.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't share, you buy.
I buy.
Yeah, I like to share. I like people to share with me. I share with you.
But I'm buying, and I still can't watch it.
So it is, where was the account created?
In the same TV that I'm using right now.
Did you contact Mr. Netflix or Mrs. Netflix?
You know what? I was just like,
because you got to, because that show is really, really good.
No, I did not contact them. I just went to MLB TV and saw Kittredge give up four runs in the 7th inning and saw the Cubs lose.
I'm of course not very smart. I don't think you can go to MLB TV and watch Netflix, but
that's not. No, I went to MLB TV to watch the Cubs game.
Oh, I thought you were going to MLB TV thinking you could get into Netflix through there.
No, I gave up on it.
I've tried. You can't.
You tried to mooch off of Netflix by using MLB TV.
Hey, nowadays, I mean, look at if you're watching the Big 12 and basketball, you got to have like 8 different services to watch games. And there's a major, major announcement that was just dropped in that world. As we welcome you in, also last night in the world of the WNBA, we had another object. I was told you can't say that word.
You can't?
No, I repeated it numerous times last week. And someone said, I don't think you can say that on air. And I said, okay. So I'm just going to say there was an object in a WNBA game last night. And then I'll let everybody's mind just wander to what that object was. It could have been a hot dog. It wasn't a hot dog.
It wasn't.
Also, we are a day closer to the start of the season. We're a day closer to preseason football, which is tomorrow, and a day closer to this radio station and you and your friends and family going to Arrowhead to watch Nebraska and Cincinnati. I was reminded yesterday by one of our loyal listeners who was inquiring on what our setup is in Kansas City.
Yep.
And he said, I don't think you guys should go.
Whoa. Why?
He was pretty adamant about it. He's a diehard Husker fan. He's been a Husker fan for a long time. He's one of those people that when they reach out to you, they have to tell you how long they've been a Husker fan and how long they've been a season ticket holder.
I like that. I love those people. I do.
So I responded, height and weight, please. He said, I don't think 1620 The Zone should make the trip. Because he goes, everybody's going to be down there. And I said, yeah, it's going to be great. Pre-game, post-game, all that stuff. It's going to be fantastic. Great way to kick off the year. The hope meter is through the roof. I go, I can't wait. And he goes, I don't think you guys should go. And I said, our show or the whole station? He goes, the whole station. And I said, whoa, that's awful harsh.
Yeah.
I thought we were buds. And he said, you know why? And I said, no. I said, I like that stadium. That stadium has brought me many, many good feelings.
It has.
And he said, think about it. How many times has the Zone gone to road football games? And then I was like,
Well, is 1620 The Zone's road football game record
never
abysmal?
Has Nebraska won a football game when 1620 The Zone is on site?
Is that an actual?
Yeah.
For how
so
long?
My
does
first
this...
year here, we went to Columbus for a regular season Ohio State-Nebraska game. It was Severe Bishop and myself. Damon and I had just started. So Damon stayed back here because I think, he had a Friday night football game. They got blown out. And then we said, you know what? Do not let that deter us. By the way, I think the year before, they also went to Wisconsin. That was before I started working here. So lost the Big Ten debut in Wisconsin. So we went to Columbus for the regular season game. And then we were like, you know what? Let's go to Indy for the Big Ten championship game.
Oh, God.
And you know how that turned out.
Yeah. 2
of the hosts almost got into a fist fight over a officiating call. Okay. In a very, very empty and sometimes obnoxious bar in Columbus.
That's great.
And then we took some time off. And then in 19, John and Josh were in Boulder. And you know how that worked out.
Yeah. You guys have also picked like the worst games
well, we
to
were,
go to.
The first half in 19 was pretty good.
Well,
really.
Exactly.
Like, moogly.
But that's why that's the worst game, because the first half was so great. And the stories of like, oh my God, we're sitting there in Boulder. People are celebrating. We're throwing back beers. We're celebrating as if it's 95. And then Colorado comes back and wins that game. That's a terrible game to go to. And the Big Ten championship game. And I would argue the first Big Ten debut that you weren't there for, but like that's also a terrible game to go to.
The Ohio State game wasn't good
Well,
either.
you get what you paid for with that one.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what you're expecting with going to the shoe.
Well, you didn't expect to get crushed like that.
Sure.
So the Zone has never won on the road, and now we're going to Cincinnati. So Rule use that as motivation. You know what? There's a lot of things that might come to an end this year, and I think that will come to an end.
What? Us going to road
16-20 being in a road game when Nebraska loses. Because you know what? I'm not ready for the weight of the season to be placed on the first game of the season. I'm just not. I might next week, but I'm not today.
I was going to say.
Yeah. That's become like the thing over the last couple of days is the weight of the season is all based on one game, and that's the opening game.
I mean,
I will entertain that, but I want to save that for next week.
Okay. Good. Noted, because I'm the one who brought that up to Brian Andy Kendi yesterday. Because I am one of those people who definitely think that the weight of the season it away is in week 1.
Thank
But
God.
we'll save it.
Thank God Nebraska volleyball will probably be preseason number 1 today. We got that to look forward to. Their season will hardly even have been started. So after Nebraska loses to Cincinnati and the whole season is over, we'll just shift to volleyball.
The whole
And
season.
we're like, oh man, that 8 months of talking about this team and the hope meter going, what are we going to do?
But how much that's happened consistently.
Hashtag sarcasm.
That's happened over pretty consistently over the last couple of years, though.
Well, the weight of the season on first game?
Well, people being
UTEP.
real.
How soon they forget there was UTEP last year.
That doesn't count.
Oh, it counted. Because if it didn't count,
they would have been a bowl game. You need all those games. You need all the Houston Christians.
All right. So everybody bring the John Butler energy today with the motley crew that Matt Rule has assembled on his coaching staff. You think about it. They could be a cover band that plays in dive bars.
No, they couldn't.
With John Butler, Dana Holgerson, Phil Snow, and Matt Rule. They could be like, you know what? We're all high school buds. We grew up together, and now we're out just rocking, keeping the dream alive. They are a motley crew.
What would they play? Springsteen?
They just play any cover band. It would probably be stuff you'd hear on the keg. Yeah.
I think they'd be a great like Earth, Wind, and Fire cover band. September.
Are you familiar with?
No,
Earth,
I know
Wind,
that
and Fire?
I'm aware that the makeup of both bands are very, very.
What are you
different.
trying to say?
I'm just saying.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say it. Well, you were trying to say it. You're saying, are you aware?
Earth, Wind, and Fire and Cool and the Gang are not the same. Is that what you're getting at?
No. Cool in the Gang?
You've never heard of Cool in the Gang?
No.
Jake?
I've not heard of them either.
Jeez.
Oh, I
Sorry.
thought Cool in the Gang was your nickname for Matt Rule, Dana Holgerson, Phil Snow, and John Butler.
No.
It's Cool in the Gang. Is that what? Is that a Petty band? Is that a Tom Petty band?
Serenity now. Celebration.
The what? Celebrate good times. Come on. I actually can't stand that song. It's one of my least favorite songs.
Okay. Now, granted, it did come out in 1980, but yes, that's Cool in the Gang.
I'm just saying, or I think they'd be a killer Earth, Wind, and Fire band.
I like how the Nebraska coaching staff, because we'll talk plenty about what John Butler and Addie Williams said yesterday. I like the Nebraska coaching staff has changed. Nebraska's coaching staff used to have sometimes a lunatic as the head coach, and they'd have all these button-up guys that would tuck their shirts into their khakis.
Yeah,
this is a group of assistants that they're not shirt tuckers in. They're just let it rip. You know what? We got our own personality.
Shirt tuckers in.
Shirt tuckers in.
Don't you have your shirt tucked in right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I never tuck my shirt in unless I'm dressed up.
You've never tucked your shirt in at the golf course?
No.
I think that
I had to go to a golf course where I had to wear pants, and I still didn't tuck my shirt in, which was crazy. Nice golf course, but they made you wear pants.
That's ridiculous. What if
It's not very far from here.
I don't think I've ever played golf with pants on. I do like the tuck though. The tuck is very. You tuck it in, and then you get the dad look. You know what? Maybe a fanny pack or two.
Some people lived in SIG-EP. I lived in Nyhart. Okay, we didn't. I'm a Nyhart guy. You're a SIG-EP guy.
I was
the difference.
A NARP, or what do they call the non
that is an ARP
fraternity people?
That is an ARP.
I'm a NARP.
Yep,
I was a non-athletic regular person.
Big news though today for the world out there. So Disney just had an earnings call, and their earnings are better than expected, which is if you have some stock or you're like the NFL, which now has a 10% stake in ESPN. But the major monster news this morning involves the WWE. So ESPN coming up on the 21st of August, just like Fox, because Fox is debuting Fox One, which you'll be able to stream college football, the NFL, and the World Series on a direct-to-consumer service. So ESPN just announced, and man, Nick Khan is a wheeler and a dealer.
Wow.
They just announced a monster, mega deal between ESPN and WWE that'll be on their new direct-to-consumer streaming service that's coming out in about 3 weeks. It will include all WWE premium live events, including WrestleMania, beginning in 2026. So yesterday they announced the deal with the NFL. Today they announced this monster deal. Game on between ESPN and Fox. But that is huge.
Am I going to have to buy another
streaming There's
platform?
a lot of questions out there about this.
Because
this is like, we're talking billions.
I really okay. So Netflix is supposed to have the premium live events for WWE in the future because they are now the home of Monday Night Raw, and they made that massive
but not
deal.
But no, ESPN is
Now it's ESPN
because Peacock. So Peacock had them, but remember,
Yes.
Peacock is all in on the NBA, so their interest in the WWE is not the same.
Well,
So everything is ESPN now.
but so no, I know the Peacock deal. You had the Peacock deal, and then they moved to Netflix, but they said, hey, we're moving to Netflix. Raw will be on Netflix. We made this big deal, but all the PLEs are still on Peacock. And so WWE has been using those two different platforms until their Peacock deal ends, which I think is at the end of this year. And I think the assumption was, so wow.
All PLEs beginning
now
in 26
going to
are
ESPN.
ESPN.
I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Now I have to buy.
Netflix never had the PLEs.
I thought they did.
No, because Peacock had them.
Yeah, but I think
Netflix is just a partner.
I think it was the understanding. I think in the internet wrestling community was once I'm a part of the IWC.
I bet that is a dark place.
It is such a dark place. It's the most toxic place of all time, and it's crazy because there are like things that happen there. It's mainly on Twitter that everybody thinks they think like the IWC thinks. Not everybody thinks how the IWC thinks, okay? Because when Brock Lesnar returned, the IWC was up in arms. They thought it was the most disgusting thing ever. And then you get to Monday Night Raw, and they're like, everybody's liking the Brock Lesnar return, and everybody's so happy about it. So there's a difference. Anyway, in the IWC, I think there was the understanding that Netflix was probably going to get the PLEs. Now it's going to be ESPN, which you just informed me, I did not know.
Get onto that Discord.
I am not happy.
I bet people are just pitchforks and.
So I have to buy this $29.99 direct to consumer now?
Not sure. There's a lot of questions out there.
I don't want to buy another thing. I just bought Paramount Plus. Now I have Max and Plus and Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu. Well, I have a package.
So you're
for those things.
You're an American.
This is getting ridiculous.
This is what we do in America.
Because at some point I think people were like, "Oh,
now you're gonna have to buy Fox One, which is $10 cheaper than ESPN's direct-to-consumer streaming."
I already have the Plus package on YouTube TV to make sure that I can get all the sport channels too, to make sure I can get Red Zone, and now I have to also pay for Sunday Ticket. I can't use my student discount anymore.
They stopped that EDU email.
Yeah, I don't. I looked back the other day to make sure that I had the EDU to see if I can get like the 70% off that they give you. Out.
Yeah, we got one more year.
SOL.
We got one more year.
You have one more.
Trying to stretch him to stretch him. Yeah, can he go in more than 1 year? Yeah, we're supposed to be done in the spring.
I have a new college student in my life. I think I could use their email. I didn't even think of that.
Hey, you know what? Fight back. They're fighting us. Let's fight back.
I'm mad.
But that's the huge news today in the world of WWE and also when it comes to streaming. All right, coming up on the show in about 2 hours, Kirsten Bernthal Booth. Coach Booth is going to join us as volleyball practice has started. And today, the volleyball poll will come out. I think Nebraska will be number 1. If not, they're number 2. I know that leaves me some wiggle room, but I believe that Nebraska will be preseason number 1. So Coach Booth will join us because she is working with Love B, and there's some exciting news with Love B. So look forward to catching up with Coach Booth. That's coming up at 8:30. John Walker stops by at 9 to talk a plethora of things. And then also at 9:40, Brandon Vogel stops by from Counter Read. Hopefully he will bring John Butler energy. That is the lineup. It is brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Ooh. Who of our guests is closest to John Butler energy?
John Walker.
Really?
John Walker's got a ton of energy. He doesn't, he's like subtle, but once you get him going, he's like.
I know. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more on that.
Do not overlook Coach Booth. People think this demeanor is like, oh, she's nice. She's very respectful. No, she's a killer.
I was going to say Brandon Vogel. Killer. Brandon Vogel is such a smart human being. And just every time you talk to Brandon Vogel, you can just
sucking up to John Butler. Huh?
No, I'm not sucking up to John Butler. But John Butler is a smart human being. I mean, what am I supposed to say? That every time these guys talked about John Butler, they said for months, the guy's a genius. The guy's a genius. He's just super genius. And then he steps up to the podium, and you're like, I could see how people think that. Brandon Vogel is also like that. Anytime you talk to somebody about Brandon Vogel, they're like, he's a very smart man. And then you talk to Brandon Vogel and you're like, he's probably smarter than I am. Maybe not you, but I think that way.
That is Lana, brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. It's not a ticked off Tuesday, but I'm just going to get this out of the way. Being a baseball fan is ruthless. You're going to win 60. You're going to lose 60. I hope you don't lose many more past 60. It is a very, very tough sport sometimes to be a fan of. I like our team. I don't like that 9 innings is an absolute grind right now for the Chicago Cubs. I watched the Brewers, and I give credit to the Brewers, 44-16 in their last 60. We should have acquired your front office, not your manager. But I watched the Brewers play from the Nats to the Braves, and they just mow through 9 innings. Watching the Cubs right now is a grind. It is an absolute grind for 9 innings, but I like my team, and I would prefer that team does not get swept by the Reds. So it's because baseball is a game of failure, and as a fan, you're going to fail a lot. It's just it's mostly frustration.
It
is. I got that off my chest. I'm good now.
Can I throw you a hypothetical that might get you even more?
I don't like hypotheticals. You can throw it out there. I don't know if I'm going to throw it back.
This season is kind of starting to feel like 2019. It's starting to feel pretty damn close. And I think we have our Steve Cishek in Taylor Rogers, where that's all Council wants to throw out there. Because you remember 2019, it got to the point where Madden only trusted Cishek to really go out there and get stuff done. And now we've seen like Taylor Rogers, because seems like he's just getting thrown out there back-to-back nights, just being reliable. And then the offense isn't working anymore after the offense was working perfectly.
No, the offense is not working at all.
And then unfortunately this year, you didn't go out and get a Daniel Murphy, which they did in 19. But then Daniel Murphy came to the Cubs and he played terrible.
I like Willie Castro. I think Willie Castro is going to be okay. The problem is someday the Cubs will act like the Cubs in one of the largest markets in baseball. It's expensive to go to games.
Yeah.
It is a waterfall of cash. At some point, the Cubs will act like the Cubs. But until that, I'm just going to say that it's mostly frustrating being a Cubs fan, and I'm just hoping that somehow Abbott doesn't throw anything near the strike zone today. And if that happens, I will be very, very happy. I'm because the other night I was not happy. Last night I was like, okay, show's coming out of the game.
Were you chain smoking again?
No, didn't smoke last night. And then you bring in a reliever who has been pretty good against right-handers, and then the ball goes over the fence and the game is essentially over. My biggest worry is the guy that somebody will pay him $450 million in the offseason does not have a vibe whatsoever in Kyle Tucker. And I didn't think we'd be saying this on the 6th of August, that Matt Shaw has 4 more home runs than Kyle Tucker since July 1. He has 5. Kyle Tucker has 1. And I want to hear today that Kyle Tucker is hurt. He's going on the 10-day IL, and he'll be back in 10 days. Please.
He doesn't look anything like the guy in April or May that you were like, let's pay him $40 million.
Competitive at bats. Well, but they're all in a slump. Like, it's contagious.
Oh, yeah.
Like Seiya, PCA, and PCA, you could tell now is like, okay, the body language is bad. But it is like 1 through 6. They can't hit with runners in scoring position.
Well, also too, like you talked about it, and I think when we had Jesse Rogers on here, he talked about it where Kyle Tucker playing well had been really important, and batting in front of Seiya Suzuki had elevated him. And then Jesse went as far to say is just Kyle Tucker being good at baseball has elevated that entire team from a locker room perspective. And now he strikes out, not yesterday, but the day before on Monday. And it was a non-competitive strikeout. And his head, he did the terrible body language of the head goes up and the eye rolls and, the back kind of flips over. And it's like, when you do that, you're like admitting you're in a slump. Mm-hmm. You're like you're telling everybody, oh my God, I can't get anything right now. It's not good.
After a great start, they're about a 500 team. It's starting to weigh on them. You can tell it. And you get Kyle Tucker so that you don't go through stretches like this, and he's a cut stopper, but they're fighting it right now. So I'm glad that all the Brewer and Cardinal fans out there are enjoying this little segment. We could be the Yankees. They've lost 5 in a row, but we're not. We could be, you know what? I think probably the White Sox and the Cubs have a better record in August than the Mets and the Yankees. The Mets and the Yankees are 1-9 in the month of August. So things can always be worse, everybody. Things can always be worse. It's optimistic Wednesday.
I don't think anybody is agreeing with you. I don't think any of Cubs fans or Sox fans
the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's thinking that.
We're not the Colorado Rockies. Okay. So it's a new day. It's a new day. Only behind by 4 games.
Are you trying to reverse psychologize like the baseball guys right now? Because you came in yesterday very heated and it did not work out for you. Did not work out for our Cubs.
Just the way they lost on Monday night compared to last night.
Oh, the way they lost on Monday night.
Every loss is a bad loss, and you're going to have a lot of them again. Being a baseball fan is ruthless, and I don't want to go all in on football yet. I want to enjoy baseball for a couple of more months.
Yeah, I'm all in on football. But I'm a Cubs fan. That's the thing. I enjoy baseball, but I'm a Cubs fan. I'm not like a baseball fan. You are a baseball fan.
I can't quit them. I like this team, but I don't like the bullpen right now that is giving up dongs. I mean, every time I look up dong.
Well, is there
dong?
If we're being honest with you, is there a piece of this team that you currently do like?
Matt Shaw.
Okay.
I like Matt Shaw.
Next one.
I like
Shota.
I like Matthew Boyd.
Okay.
I like Show, who shoved last night. But of course, he was starting to work his way the third time through the order and doesn't necessarily good against right-handers. And so Greg Counsell went with his gut. Yeah.
I'm saying as a whole, holistically, I don't think
7-inning stretch singers have been pretty good of late.
Ever since
Sut, Odenkirk of late.
What was her name? Who
I don't have to.
Alex Cooper.
Boog has spent more time on Marquee, so I don't have to listen to Alex. Jesus, he'll put you to sleep. Nice guy, super nice guy. He used to be the voice of the Iowa Cubs radio guy.
Yeah,
nice guy. He doesn't mesh with the Shays. So it's when he's on, it's a very quiet broadcast. So, like Boog, just he's all over the map.
I kind of look. Hey, respect them both. Seem like both great guys. Haven't really been listening to Marquee with the volume on. Yeah, just not. I don't know. I just kind of that gets the silence, and then Beat Bobby Flay gets the volume. Or NFL Live.
That's a weird.
It's a joke. Probably another baseball game.
I don't know. You're
Kansas
a food
City
guy.
Royals.
I didn't know.
I do love the Food Network.
Tough to watch the Royals after their weekend in Toronto. And
it's tough to watch a lot of baseball.
Red Sox are vibing. So good to everybody that has a baseball team that's vibing. Our baseball team currently is not vibing.
Are you confident about the White Sox over, by the way?
Hell yeah.
All right, 47. I looked at that number today.
Baby. Hey, I sent Colson Montgomery a DM.
Did you?
I said, hey, baby. All right, since the All-Star break, you are helping me a lot. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably illegal, and I could get in trouble for that.
No, I don't.
He hasn't responded.
I don't think he will.
Yeah.
I get text message. I've never gotten
from the same
not
White
from
Sox
Colson,
prospect.
Okay. Not from Colson Montgomery. I've never gotten updates on how a certain prospect is playing as often as I have with Colson Montgomery since like Yohan Moncada. Like when Moncada used to hit a homer or have like 3 hits or whatever, the group chat would get flooded. Future, he's incredible, better than Bryant. We're coming. 2022 World Series champions. And now it's the same thing with Montgomery. Montgomery plays well. Oh my God, Colson had another one.
When we come back on Gary and Matt on a hump day, everybody has already broken down the schedule for Nebraska. I saw one of the best ways to break down Nebraska's schedule yesterday. I have one disagreement, though, about how they judge Nebraska's schedule. We'll get into that when we return. Again, Kirsten Bernthal Booth, Coach Booth, is joining us coming up at 8:30. Big things going on with Love B. You got the Supernovas, you got Love B, volleyball town. And maybe the number 1 team in the country preseason going to be announced later today. Also, John Walker stops by from the World Herald and Brandon Vogel from counterread.com. That's all to come with Gary and Matt and Jake on 1620 The Zone. All right, if you're in the media world or you like that from afar, I'm always interested how people are. They take a lot of interest in sports media, things that go on, the money, how it all works, which is very, very cool. Andrew Marchand is the guy, my go-to guy, of how things work, whether it be locally or nationally. Some big news this morning is ESPN not only partners with the NFL, but now WWE signing a major deal to have all the premium live events, including WrestleMania beginning in 26 on the ESPN streaming platform, their new thing. And then also this just came across. I don't know if you guys are Howard Stern fans, but SiriusXM and Howard Stern are not expected to reach a contract extension. So he had a monster contract. A 5-year deal, $100 million per year.
I remember when he signed it, I was kind of taken aback by the valuation of it, at least, because Howard Stern, radio giant, one of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
But I definitely, when he signed that deal, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't know that Howard Stern still had it like that. Like they were they were still like revving like."
He's got a great deal. He hardly ever works.
But
him and Dan Patrick are two of the best, if not the best, interviewers in all of radio. I love Stern. He doesn't he's gotten super political of late. So I listen in and out. I used to listen a lot more of Howard Stern back in the day, but that would be a big deal. I wonder what he would do next. So lots of media stuff going on this morning.
I'm so mad. Bring back the WWE Network, please. $9.99 a month. It was great. It was incredible. There was nothing better.
I think you would be okay if they had I would like to know what the library is. Like, are they going to be able to have full access to the library?
I swear to you, if I'm paying $29.99 a month and I can't watch SummerSlam 2001, I'm going to get pissed off. $29.99 a month, and it didn't have the library would be the biggest scam of all time.
Bruin Steve says, watch SummerSlam on Peacock this last weekend. Might as well go back to cable. Do the amount of money I'm spending on subscription services.
Seriously.
Let's play a game of knockout here with your subscription services. Let's do that in the next hour.
Okay.
Because I want to get to the schedule thing. So we're still, 22 days away?
Or 12 days away from being 10 days away.
Thank you very much. And we've kind of broken down Nebraska's schedule every which way. I guess I'm the only one on the station that has not given my record prediction.
You haven't. You have stayed pretty close to the chest. Now, I think I know where you're going to be at, because I think you do a great job of doing the hints. If you read between the lines of some of your opinions and whatnot, you could probably piece together where you're at. But no, you are the only one who hasn't put a number to it.
I will give you this hint. I like the O over the P.
O over the P.
O over the P when looking at Nebraska in 2025.
Jake, any idea what that means?
I don't get the P part. Gary.
What's the P?
What do you mean by that?
The over, I think you would be like over the U.
The O and the P usually go together when you're describing something, and they kind of have a similar meaning.
Down with O-P-P? Is that, you know me?
Not sure. Not familiar. So, like you and Cool in the Gang, not familiar with that song. Can you enlighten me on what that song means?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
I hear that song aplenty.
I don't know.
No one ever says, "Hey, you down with OPP?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, you know me.
I pay my bill. I pay my bill once a month.
I got my bill today."
Well, don't be so excited about getting a bill, son.
Well, actually, I haven't looked at it. Let me tell you if I'm excited or not. I am not excited. Lord.
You know what? All you people that ran your air and did not use the Gary system?
The Gary system is, I would die. Okay? If I did the Gary system, I would die. I would die of dehydration.
I'm still here.
I'd also probably lose like 9 pounds too. I mean, you live in a sauna.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
God.
Okay, so
I miss my April bills from OPP. Those are
I'm
great.
down with the O over the P.
Okay.
Optimism over pessimism.
All right.
Okay, there you go. So that's just a little hint. But again, like I said yesterday, there's a couple of things I just need to see or need to hear in the next couple of weeks, and then it will fortify what I think in my head this team can do. So with that said, Trojan FBX on the Twitter machine.
That's a good one.
He is going through the big, or maybe her, I'm sorry. Is going through, Pat, is going through the difficulty of schedules. And they have an interesting system. So they've done Nebraska's schedule, and I looked at it. You should look at it as well. But they have 4 categories on a schedule. 1 is cake. Effortless, practically handed to you. 2 is gritty. Balanced, requires some focus, but not overwhelming with a determined edge. 3 is nail biter. High tension success hangs in the balance until the end. And brutal is 4. Relentless and punishing demands a lead level of skill for all 4 quarters and a little bit of luck with help. Would you like to guess how many cake games they think are on Nebraska's schedule this year?
4.
6.
Whoa.
So 1 I disagree with.
Okay. So it's Houston Christian, Akron, Maryland, Northwestern, UCLA, Michigan State.
Not UCLA.
Okay.
They say Michigan State will be a cake game.
Not at all.
So Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan State, Maryland, and Northwestern. I vehemently disagree with the Cincinnati game being a cake game. Okay? If you know Nebraska football, you know. Okay? And also the zone is going to be there. Then, gritty, they have Minnesota and UCLA.
Does that make sense? Especially the game at Minnesota. That's going to be gritty since Nebraska historically has really struggled to play at Minnesota.
Yeah, the away game too. Like you have to go to
away
Pasadena,
game.
right? So I can see how they can twist like, all right, it's a gritty game because you're on the road.
3 nail biter games. Michigan, USC, Iowa. That's kind of those are like the toss-up games that can determine, if you're going north or south. And then the only brutal game, according to this system, is the Penn State game. I thought that was and so the difficulty of score is 24. Like USC's schedule is 25.
See, I don't think the Michigan State game is cake at all. What do you mean effortless, practically handed to you? First off, Nebraska just historically has not done well against Michigan State over the last couple of years. Okay? Even when everything goes against Michigan State, could be a coach, could be a quarterback, could be the fact he didn't get a first down in the second half.
Now, Nebraska's actually beaten some good Michigan State teams of late.
No, well, they lost to the 2021 game. That was atrocious. The 2023 game, that was atrocious. I'm just talking about
did they
those
not
two.
beat a playoff team? I remember. I'm optimistic today.
I'm giving you the last two events.
They beat Kirk Cousins.
Which both of them, by the way, both of those games were awful games, terrible games. Like groin kick. How the hell do you lose that games? One of them, I think, is going to be number 1 overall in the groin kick chronicles.
We got this. We got to fix. We got a different Aussie punting. He knows left to right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good.
I love how the word weapon being used about your punter to me has always been incredibly funny. But I get excited about it now. Are we going to be excited for the first Nebraska punt of the season?
Yeah. Well, maybe if it comes after a 3 and out. I don't know. I'd be excited to be like, well, okay, the weight of the season does rest on the Cincinnati game.
How many points do you have to score in order to be excited for the first punt of the game?
Telling you, he's such a huge advantage. Because look at your third down play calling. You're thinking, you know what? If we have to shut her down and we don't get a first down, we got a weapon. It's just an extension of your offense and your defense. If you want to look at it like that.
It is incredible though that is like the one position you would prefer to never use though. Like it's great that he had the weapon, but if we're up to everybody, Archie Wilson would never touch the field.
My hesitation on Archie Wilson, just because I would like to, you got to make the adjustment to playing American football and being pressured and those kind of things in hostile situations. So if it gets off to a little bit of a choppy start as he acclimates himself, I'm going to be okay with that. It just like looking at the last 9 games can't be a roller coaster where you go, okay, who stole Eckler? Why is Ed Foley back on the sidelines? Kyle writes in, Wisconsin fan. Kyle has been pretty solid on this. This offseason is no different than the last decade. People see a 7-win team, but for whatever reason, they think it's a 10-win team. So just like the Sydney Sweeney narrative about her jeans,
Yeah.
where is this coming from? This is not coming. We've talked about this a lot to finish the tweet. This year's reasons are it feels different plus rule year 3. National media more optimistic than local media, and I think local media for the most part are pretty optimistic. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's very fair.
Now,
but I think that
the Phil Steeles of the world and the Klatts are the ones that have used double figures.
That's probably overdoing it. But
8-win season, chance to win 9, I think would be the general feeling.
But the national media,
I want to speak for everybody.
National media, in a way, looks at Nebraska the way that they look at every other team, right? How many guys are you what are your returning starters? What's your returning production? How much talent do you have? What's the coaching staff looking like? What are adjustments that they made? And then they make those predictions and they make those adjustments. We over here, the local media, we do all of that. And then we go, but it's Nebraska and this is how it's been. And so I think you pull back a little bit because you have been burned.
Do you think, now I would rather have an older team that's played football together.
Me too.
But the lack of returning starters means less than it used to.
Oh God, yeah.
With the portal.
Well,
so basically you're acquiring, let's say Mississippi returns 4 starters and they got a little Lane Kiffin rub down of the being in the poll where they are. Is you could return 4 that played for you last year, but you just added 7 who started somewhere else.
And 7 who might even be better than all the players returning starters used to be basically how we did the next year's AP poll. It was just, all right, how many starters are you bringing back? How many talented freshmen are now or lower classmen are turning into upperclassmen? Let's put those 2 things together, and we're going to tell you, okay, this team is probably going to be really good. Now it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
You have to be all in on the recruiting ring.
All right, Kyle adds to this. He says, national media loved Nebraska last year.
Not to this extent. I think national media loved the idea of Dylan Raiola and him being the quarterback of Nebraska, but I don't think national media, I don't remember anybody saying, oh, they're going to be a college football playoff dark horse.
It'll be this whole O and the P is the Athletic is doing their hope meter.
How much hope is?
Well, last year, 96% for Nebraska they have hope. Think they'll be higher this year?
Hope to do what?
I have to go back and look at their metrics.
Yeah.
But I think hope to have a season that does not end like
terribly,
like the Hindenburg.
Yeah, I think the hope would probably be high. I think the hope would be 100% to not have a season that ends in complete and utter catastrophe. I think it's actually
isn't that what we do every year? Oh, this would be the year that I really want this year to be terrible.
Can I tell you though, the one real difference is the coaching staff. I think that is the real difference of all of the other years you can look back on.
Yeah.
Because you look back and you're like, all right, yeah, you got a bunch of new players, but you have the same coaching staff that made a lot of the same mistakes. Now, what are you pointing at?
Lil Wayne is on ESPN and they supered him. Longtime fan of ESPN's Sports Center. Okay.
Maybe Grammy Award winning.
Sorry. Anytime Lil Wayne pops up on the screen, I got to take a look.
I told you
man, your last album, we got to work on that voice.
I told you last March that he had fallen off, and you denied it.
I'm loyal to him. His voice just wasn't that strong.
His voice. I mean, there's a reason why they didn't let him perform in New Orleans.
Listen, the optimism.
There's a reason.
You're right.
He came out and they're like, Wayne, you ain't got it anymore.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he didn't sing at the Super Bowl, or he was a big Chiefs fan, didn't want to jinx him. Wouldn't have mattered. But the hope is brimming from the guy that's in charge and his quarterback and the schedule. You say the coaching staff, yes, but I'm talking the guy that is in charge and all of that until they play a game, and then you go, oh, I mean, you might go, all right, that defensive line. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
But I think those are the 3 areas where a lot of the hope is brimming is rule. Yes, there is the year 3. You can't deny it. But I always say, why is this different? Because this ain't Temple or Baylor.
No, not at all.
The quarterback returning. And then Yeah, don't run away from it, even though it is run over Nebraska. The schedule is a deal. The schedule is a deal. You might play two ranked teams the entire season. You don't play a true road game until the middle of October. Nebraska's had a schedule here and there like this, and they've never taken advantage of it.
Last year, though,
because next year we're not going to be having this conversation, but hopefully with a better football team.
Last year, though, I think we all collectively thought that they also had a pretty easy schedule, and it actually ended up not being that way because Illinois and Indiana ended up being pretty damn good. But I would say I don't think anybody is marking like Maryland or Northwestern to make these massive like 9-10 win jumps or anything like that. Like I think it's less realistic this year than last year that you have teams that all of a sudden are really, really good that you thought you were going to be able to beat. But I do get a little bit worried of like predicting the schedules and being like, oh, this is going to be really, especially in this era with the transfer portal.
Yeah, well, and also in the era of there aren't a lot of off Saturdays in the Big Ten, which is great for the conference. I mean, not everybody's created equal, but there's not as many like holes in the schedule. You can't play Purdue 4 times. You know, there's like the middle is getting stronger, and that 13 to 18, there is a team or two there that on any given Saturday, UCLA comes into Lincoln and beats you 27-20.
I mean, how many teams are you really going to be a favorite on the road against in the Big Ten?
This on Nebraska's schedule this year?
Yeah.
Maryland?
Yeah, 1. Maybe UCLA. Maybe. But that could end up being like, I wouldn't be surprised because UCLA was like a 1.5 favorite. If they're playing.
Do you have PTSD Gopher? Because if Nebraska is doing Nebraska new things, not old things, new things, go on the road and be a slight favorite.
Yeah, I would bet Minnesota. Okay. I would bet plus, like, you're giving me numbers. You're giving me points. Minnesota at home.
Well, I think it would. I think regardless, that's going to be a small line.
Oh, sure.
So it doesn't really.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in general, like to your point, you're saying that the middle is better. Like there aren't too many teams that you can go on the road in the Big Ten and you're going to be a favorite to win. At least if you're Nebraska.
Well, the fact that you don't play many road games also is an advantage. Another advantage is we get another hour to do this with all of you. More on what was said yesterday in Lincoln because they hear us. We are loud. They are listening and they are responding. And so we must talk about it. Plus, NFL, ESPN getting together.
Cool. Fine.
Might mean more red zone stuff on other sports.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Life would be a joy if the red zone was everywhere.
Yeah, we got to workshop that.
That song?
Cool in the Gang? We got to rewrite that.
Don't be acting like you know who Cool in the Gang is.
What do you mean? Cool in the Gang and I go way back.
I saw Cool in the Gang in Charleston, South Carolina. I said, Cool!
And the gang.
I just wanted to talk to Cool. I don't know the rest of the gang.
Is that his real name?
Google it. Scary and Matt. With Jake sitting in this morning on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in on a Wednesday. Gary and Matt, Jake here as well. If you are with us in the Big O, here in central Omaha, I think we can still, or they like to call it Midtown, here in the Dundee neighborhood, 50th and Capitol. It is a frog strangler. It is pouring outside.
Yeah, I'd never heard that. I've never heard of a frog strangler before I
Florida
started
term.
working here. I love that. It is dark outside.
Yeah.
It is like real. It feels like December
Storms
right now.
brewing 22 days from now in Arrowhead.
How
Captain Dillon.
How funny would it be
Okay.
if that game got rained out?
What?
Don't put that out there, please, Matt.
Got rained out.
Like we all showed up to Arrowhead. We're all fired up, doing the round table, ready to go. Huskers kick it off, year 3 Matt Rule, and then it rained out. That'd be terrible.
Already worried about
It'd
the
be
Akron
awful.
game on the schedule since that happened
What are
last
we
time.
talking
Don't put that
about?
out there, Matt.
No.
Not cool, man.
I have seen, go back and look, it was I think it was Seattle, Kansas City. Just a deluge.
Yeah.
They can play for it. They can play through it. It's got to, they're fine.
A deluge?
A deluge.
I've never heard of that either. Is that French?
Kool and the Gang sang that song. So you'll, two birds with one stone.
Everything I don't know.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth, Coach Booth, going to join us coming up at 8:30 because she's part of some major news this morning from Love B, which she is now involved with. It is no longer Love B Omaha. It is Love B Nebraska. Jordan Larson, the Gov, she is now part of the ownership group of the rebranded Love B Nebraska. Lexi Rodriguez will be back. Please promote her in this town. One of the greatest Nebraska volleyball players of all time. Played there last year. She's a legend. And you would not have known that she was playing for them. And she's had a really good offseason on the USA level. But she will be back. And Coach Booth has a heavy involvement in it. She is the president of business operations.
Okay.
So that is announced this morning. The rebranding has happened. Volleyball, big in this town, big in this state. Preseason poll coming out. Again, I think Nebraska will be number 1. But we will talk to Coach Booth coming up at 8:30.
What was the reason for all of this volleyball news coming out all at once? It just seemed like it was just very out of nowhere.
Volleyball does not stop for football. That's what they say.
Is that the saying?
Yeah. Volleyball in this state does not stop. So we have bam, bam, big announcements. Supernovas, Love Nebraska, Love B Nebraska. Why can't they just in a quiet place play each other?
Oh,
is that allowed? Wouldn't that be great?
That would be incredible. You don't think that would sell out the Chai? You don't think that would sell out any type of arena?
I mean, Ralston, they did play at Ralston. I don't want to, could you play a home and home?
It'd be like Nebraska, Northern Illinois playing a home and home.
It's wild that we have two professional and really high level volleyball teams and organizations in this city. So we'll talk to Coach Booth coming up at 8:30. John Walker from the World Herald will join us at 9, and then Brandon Vogel from Counter Read stopping by at 9:40. You can always email the show. Well, first of all, you can always get in touch with the show via the phone. You want to get us a traffic update. It is moving slow here on Dodge with the heavy rain that is falling during the early morning commute. It is dark outside like it is late at night. So please turn on your headlights if you do not have one of those fancy cars that the headlights are always on.
I don't think you're not supposed to.
402-951-1620. That is a Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline.
You're not supposed to put your high beams on in this, right? Because the you get to see the droplets, and the droplets actually cover up your view. So don't do that either. Don't put your high beams on. Just make sure your headlights are on. It looks like November out there, and it's kind of December, and it's kind of depressing. Just look. If you look close enough, you could see the ghost of December.
Is it that dark in December at this time of the morning?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't get light in December until 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm glad that we've forgotten what it looks like.
But this is really, really dark.
Oh, this is in particularly dark. This is very dark.
This is really, really dark. Like the 2021 season outside. I think it was back to
the horrible thing is that you really could have just spun the wheel of different, 2010s.
Trying to keep it
say.
Trying to keep it close. Buckeye Ross writes in, You heard us talking about the schedule. What if Nebraska is having a great year in that range of wins, and then at the end of the year goes on the road and gets absolutely dismantled against one of the truly elite teams they play, Penn State on Senior Day? Does it tarnish the season, kind of like so close but yet so far away? I could definitely see that happening, especially when Penn State regroups after the Buckeyes depants them on November 1st. You knew that last paragraph was coming?
Does Nebraska lose another game outside of that? Because I will totally take Indiana season from last year if that's what you're proposing to me. I don't think Indiana and anybody who was a Hoosier fan was like, oh, shucks, it sucks we got blown out to Ohio State after they got
But they didn't let it beat them
because
because they played Purdue the next weekend in the rivalry game?
Yeah, and they kicked the crap out of them. They were like, oh, no, we're still good. We're still fine. Also, too, I do think Ohio State, clearly the better team than Indiana, always was going to win that game. I do think it was a little
Just
bit
the manner that it happened.
Yeah, I do think if you watch every snap, though, they're far apart, but it wasn't as egregious as maybe it was made out to be. But I would totally, Nebraska doesn't lose another game, but they just get absolutely walloped by Penn State. Yeah, I will take that season any day of the week.
How about just beating Cincinnati? That's where I'm at right now. I'm the O.
You're the P guy. You're the O guy. I'm the P guy. The O guy. You should be talking about 11-1 right now, 10-2.
The optimistic guy or gal, just one game at a time. Pessimistic is like, what happens if we lose the first game? We're going to lose to Penn State.
You start counting losses after week 1.
John writes in, you may want to go back to driving school with this email in the Equitable Bank inbox. He said, you don't turn your high beams on inside the city limits at any time, Matt. It's actually against the law.
Oh, I'm not saying that I've turned. Why does this turn into I don't know how to drive and I do things illegally? I never said that I turn my high beams on.
I think you're a good driver.
I got sideswiped though, and nobody left a note, and I got a little dent in my door now.
In the parking lot here?
No, at the parking lot, the College World Series.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It went ahead and I got 2 dents there now, and it looks like I've been in an accident.
You should have looked for the video. Remember when Connor got sideswiped at a Creighton game?
I did not know that.
They had video, yeah.
No, I do you think there'd be video in Lot D?
Maybe we have a serial sideswiper that hates 1620 the zone.
I don't know.
And knows our cars.
With the dents that were in the car, it kind of looked like they took like a shot at my car. It didn't look like a car hit it.
What vehicle do you drive? What's the make?
It's a 2000.
No, you don't have to get
15.
Okay, but it's what kind of
Mercedes
Benz. I know that. What?
Oh, MLE 350.
Okay. I also drive the same car. If you're out there listening, as a 1620 the zone sideswiper. You're a serial sideswiper.
Screw you.
I did not know that. Did you file a claim?
No.
Oh.
It's just a little dent on the door where I'm okay. You can live with it. Like it's like you can't see it on the road. If you were driving next to me, you wouldn't be able to see it. But if I brought you up to my car and I showed you, hey, there's this 2 little dents right here. Now, when I drive the car back home to Chicago, my parents will be like, yo, what the hell happened here? And I'll be like, oh, it's no big deal. But I got sideswiped. And then
that's not nice.
You got to leave a note, right? You got to leave
a note.
Like little post-it note. Hey, sorry about that.
Got to leave
my
a
number.
note. Here's your information.
Yeah.
Or wait.
Well, I don't know. It might have been unfair to wait at the College World Series, sitting in that parking lot.
I'd like to welcome our good friend from Ohio, Nate, to the show. He says in the Equitable Bank inbox, where they take banking personally, 2 fine locations in Omaha that'll be opening up soon. Today, that is, not like in the future. Gary or Matt at 1620thezone.com. He said, I'm joining the band. Not the marching band. My band, NFMTBO. Nebraskans for Michigan to beat Oklahoma.
Or Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Yes.
I know. Somebody told me that yesterday. They said you're going to get sued. I'm like, well, you know what? Hey, Mrs. B, let's go.
I'll never forget when somebody goes, you'll get an NFM card. We all get NFM cards. And I go, I don't think I'll get an NFM card. I have an NFM card now.
I feel like they've forgotten their way here in Omaha.
Whoa.
I'm looking at some of these other Nebraska Furniture Marts, whether they be in Texas or down in Kansas City by the racetrack.
Do they look great?
Yeah.
And they don't look. I still think that the Omaha one's pretty decent.
Well, it's always going to be close to our heart because it's ours. And I don't think those other places, like they pipe in the Subway smells, because they do. You can't convince me.
Subway train smells or Subway sandwich smell?
No, you've never gone in there? Like when you go to the electronics area or the desks and things like that.
No.
In between is the Subway. They pipe in
Oh, sure.
the Subway smell for the sandwiches. I know they do. I don't have this confirmed, but I know they do because
Gary,
I know my sandwiches.
How do you pipe in sandwich smells?
You just not pipe in is not the right word. They through the ventilation system. So then you just smell it. Those other places don't. But I just want to say, maybe it's time for some expansion to Nebraska Furniture Mart because you've let your Ridge go. Okay, it's still a beautiful place. I still spend a lot of money there. But, I mean, can we not? I mean, you're doing really well in Texas and Kansas City. Can we not forget about Omaha here?
See, the funny thing is that I just recognized that I really didn't walk anywhere other than the bed area in NFM, and the bed area is just like right there.
You've never gone over and just stared at the TVs?
No.
Or like, you know what?
No.
I'm so frugal, I don't have that channel, but I'm going to go to NFM and act like I'm buying a TV, but I'm there to watch the ball game.
There are a lot of people, though. Dude, I haven't been to NFM and seen this, but I've seen this at similar places where there are people, it just seems like they go to those places just to watch movies, where they have the like home theater kind of set up and they have all the different chairs and you get to sit down in the chairs and test out like, oh, do I want to buy it? And they have a movie there, right? They're playing like a Rio 2 or like Despicable Me, like one of those kid cartoons. And those people, man, they're just sitting back there just watching the movie. Like they're doing nothing. You're not shopping.
I don't think they're going to run eyes wide shut at the NFM.
You don't think they're going to be playing The Notebook?
By the way, if you go to the Walmart on 72nd and Pacific in the collegiate section where they have Nebraska, Creighton, and Omaha gear, they just keep on a loop replaying the '96 Fiesta Bowl between Nebraska and Florida. I think that's designed to make you feel good, so you're going to buy more at Walmart.
Did you catch yourself watching the game once again? Which, by the way, I thought when you told me that the first time you went there and you took a picture of it that you were joking, and then you showed me the picture. Still kind of wild. You sat there for 10 minutes and watched that game.
Why not?
It's a great game.
That was a good moment.
A great moment, incredible moment. But like, you got shopping to do. You got things to get done.
Yeah, but
you've seen that game. Weren't you there at that game? You saw that game live.
Yeah, I interviewed Bill Cosby. That was before. Hey,
yeah, clearly.
Hey, that was when he was Cliff. Okay, it wasn't before he was.
I believe it.
This is years before. I mean, this is probably back when Bill Cosby was the man.
I love Bill Cosby back then at the Fiesta Bowl. He was a very, very nice guy. We actually did it in the middle of the field, and then I interviewed Boomer Esiason.
You did it with Bill Cosby?
Yeah.
In the middle of the field?
The interview I did with Bill Cosby. He was great. He was on the Husker pregame show. He was really I think he was the
Gary, I don't think this is a road you want to go down.
That was
complimenting Bill Cosby's interview skills and how great of a man he was to you.
1996.
Yeah, he couldn't have been sweeter, Jake.
No.
Couldn't have been a nicer man.
Hey,
right in the middle of the field.
Hold on. People change. I'm not.
The other way. Clearly the other way. By the way, I'm pretty sure he was probably, I don't think anything changed at all during that time. I think it was going on during that time.
He was not eyeing my production assistant at the time. He saved that for later. It was just him and I talking back and forth. Fat Albert. I was like, I grew up with you. I didn't know that later he would be a little. Okay. It was just great. Okay.
I just felt like for you, for your sake, for the safety of the show, I needed to just maybe cut that a little quickly of complimenting how great Bill Cosby was at the 96 Fiesta Bowl.
In 96 he was. In 2016 probably not so much, but that's 20 years. A lot of things can happen in 20 years.
Somebody told me a story about Muhammad Ali being at one of those games. Whether one of the, I think it might have been 95, but it could have been the 96 Fiesta Bowl.
Okay.
I think because somebody did tell me the story that they were with Frank Solich and they brought not Frank Solich. They were with Tom Osborne. Okay. Tom Osborne. And they brought, I had to make sure. I'm sorry.
You can't put them in the same.
I wanted to make sure that I said the name correctly. I've been working on that. They brought T.O. up to Coach Ali, Muhammad Ali, and they met.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
It was a very cool story told by one of my professors back at the College Journal.
And they brought Shaquille O'Neal and Regis Philbin to the 01 Rose Bowl.
See, that Nebraska needs to be good again so I can meet A-list celebrities.
That's a good point, because the 2001 Notre Dame game that was here, the last game before 9/11, it was Celebrity Row on the field. I'm just describing who these are. You do what you will with who I'm about to mention.
Based on what we've talked about earlier, I think P. Diddy's going to be there and Michael Jackson will be there.
No.
Okay.
The late Rush Limbaugh.
Okay.
And then Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was there.
That doesn't seem like Celebrity Row to me.
Well,
I'm not a political guy.
Because, I mean, his wife from here, the Nebraska fans, to have Rush Limbaugh and Justice Thomas on the field for a Nebraska game, it was like
when
mammoth,
you go from
like in 2001, Rush Limbaugh was huge.
When you go
mammoth,
when you go from
big,
when you go from talking about Shaquille O'Neal and Bill Cosby and Muhammad Ali to being like, yeah, there was Celebrity Row, a Supreme Court justice and a very well-known, talk show host. We're there.
That's like a big deal.
No, I was thinking like you were gonna say like Ruth Bader Ginsburg or like Ja Rule.
Because I interviewed him and then tried to interview her.
Sure.
And he gave me the old when Andy Roddick was dating Mandy Moore. He brought her to a Nebraska game. It was a night game. I can't recall exactly. It might have been
Oregon, Miami. I don't know. I'm just naming night games.
Both are married and have families. So this was back in 2001 or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
is that better than a legendary talk show host and a Supreme Court justice?
Andy Roddick and Mandy Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were dating at the time.
Yes. Yeah. I think that is higher.
Okay.
They're important, we're important historical figures, sure. But like I'm not
maybe it was
I'm clamoring to meet Clarence Thomas.
It was just kind of interesting, I mean, you're walking the field and they're on the field before the game.
What if with the press passes, I go down to the field and I start getting chummy with your quarterback? How funny would that be if I somehow found a way to become friends with Patrick Mahomes?
How'd that work out with you with Dick Mountain? By the
way, first off, how'd that work out? Him and I had a great convo. I got his number, and I wasn't creepy about it and kept texting him or anything like that. It was just a very nice combo.
Now he is unemployed and would never come back to Omaha. He did not have a good experience in Omaha, by the way. He didn't.
From like a pitching perspective, performance perspective,
I think just Omaha.
He told me he liked it.
Yeah, he told people that would be in charge of his enjoyment here that he didn't.
Okay. I'll take those sources over my one brief conversation.
DC says, buddies and I went to Circuit City in Lincoln with our book bags once and studied in the theater room. That is a pro move.
I studied at Brewski's in the Haymarket.
To watch TV?
Well, yeah, because they had the Cubs games on. So they put the Cubs games on, then you go to Brewski's, you get their char buff wings. You go ahead, you get your note cards out, and you start learning about JOMC 101, baby.
And look where that got you.
Yeah, right here next to you. It worked out pretty damn well.
I was saying that as a good thing.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I thought you said it sarcastically.
No, I never. I don't know how to be sarcastic.
I'm the biggest lie.
I'm not sarcastic. I'm optimistic.
See, are you going to turn this into like I'm pessimistic Peter over here, and you're optimistic Oliver?
I am trying to prevent you to go down that road of being pessimistic. Things can change. If Bill Cosby can change, so can Nebraska football.
You can't say that about Bill Cosby, like changing, because typically when you say that, they change for the better.
Not necessarily. Some people grow up and they have this great like youth, and they become a serial killer.
Bill Cosby isn't a serial killer.
No, I was not saying like Bill Cosby. I was just saying some people.
You could say like they changed like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson changed.
And then Mike Tyson is kind of like turned back around. Mike Tyson extremely popular.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
But like Mike Tyson at one point was the villain. Everybody couldn't stand him. He hated him. And then apparently he got really, there was this 30 for 30 about it, Jake. He got really high one time and he met a frog. And
I've heard that story.
That led him closer to God.
Yeah.
People change.
Exactly.
That's a good one. Not people like Bill Cosby can change.
And Mike Tyson had a good turnaround.
Well, hey,
and then we saw his ass on Netflix.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Or you live long enough to go 6 rounds with Jake Paul.
I don't think that's part of the quote from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I'll go back and check though. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I got a question for you about ESPN.
Okay.
And you know that special teams are a big deal when somebody on a defensive day in Lincoln brings up the special teams coordinator in a good way.
Yeah.
I think he was described as a pro the other night by his head coach. Andrew Marshall is, yeah. I think he's going to work out. All right, coming up in an hour, big news. Love B is rebranded here in Omaha to Love B, Nebraska, and Coach Booth is an integral part of that organization. She'll join us coming up at 8:30 on the morning of their huge announcement while it is pouring outside. It's Gary and Matt with Jake on 1620 The Zone. Hey, not only pouring outside, but it is also hailing in part of Omaha, and that's not good. If you've got a roof that is a little bit older or is in the hail zone, but never fear, as the storm is going on, before, during, and after, Moose Roofing, my good friends, Pat, Randy, Sean, Michael, the whole crew, they are here for you. So your most valuable asset by far is your home. Why not trust your home, your roof, to the MVPs of roofing in Omaha, Moose Roofing? Now, you may, after the storm rolls through, and again, it is storming here in Omaha, you check your roof and you're like, there is shingles missing. What do I have to do? I'm not going to take any chances. Don't. Trust your roof to Moose Roofing. Let them come out and inspect it and let them tell you what's wrong or not wrong with your roof. Trust the professionals from Moose Roofing. You schedule an inspection, they'll come out. The communication is top notch. They get to know you before they ever get on your roof or get in your attic and figure out what the problem is and how they can fix it, and they work with your insurance company. But once they start, it's professional from beginning to end, even the follow-up. So if that's what you're looking for in a local contractor to take care of your roof, trust your roof to Moose Roofing. When the storm passes, give Pat a call or look them up online to schedule an inspection, mooseroofing.com. All right, big day now for ESPN. Yesterday, the blockbuster trade, the NFL and ESPN formally announced their $1 billion agreement. ESPN is going to acquire the NFL media assets, including Red Zone. They won't touch it. I know that they won't touch that. They'll leave it alone.
Better.
All of a sudden, McAfee and Stephen A. Smith will not be like to Scott Hansen. I think they're smart enough.
That would
I'm giving ESPN credit that they will not touch the Red Zone.
Oh my God. Do not. It's probably one of the only things in media where we don't complain about it. Like we are so happy with the presentation and the guy who does it and what they provide and how they provide it.
In exchange, the NFL will receive a 10% ownership stake in ESPN. Now, ESPN then said, because they had the Disney earnings call this morning, pretty good for the month of, I believe, July. They also announced a relationship with the WWE, a monster deal. All the premium live events, including WrestleMania, are coming to ESPN and their brand new straight-to-consumer streaming service that debuts on the 21st, just like Fox's does. So get ready for that. That's big news in that world this morning. Now, the NFL is going to be involved with ESPN, and that will make some people a little bit uncomfortable. Do you think, because there is one aspect of the relationship, do you think that the NFL can help ESPN's fantasy football, which seems to be a mess right now?
So the new app apparently has a formatting problem that people are very upset about. And it's funny we all find out these things at the same time because we're getting to the point where we're all downloading the app.
So my fantasy baseball league is on ESPN, and so it's
how much worse, because I haven't downloaded the app yet. How much worse is it?
Well, it looks a little ugly, but there's a lot of things you can embrace that are ugly.
That's true.
But here's the
God, no.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
No, that looks like an Ultimate Frisbee logo.
Yeah.
That looks like a team that would be on ESPN 8 The Ocho. That's awful.
But ESPN's getting their butt kicked with fantasy football, correct?
Oh, Yahoo is 20 times better. And Sleeper Fantasy, if you're really into if you want a close to a general managing experience as possible, like a legitimate, I'm a GM, you go on Sleeper, in my opinion. If you just want the best base fantasy football app, Yahoo. I think Yahoo has absolutely killed that with the keeper leagues and the formats and the settings, how easy it is to trade. I feel like leagues that I play on that are on Yahoo are actually more interactive in a way because it's just, I think people don't have to, it's just a good app. It's just a good app and it encourages you to play more. ESPN, they have fallen behind greatly, but I don't know what the NFL is going to do in terms of fantasy football. Are they going to tell them? Because ESPN's problems with fantasy football, I don't think is coverage. They have some great fantasy football media members. Diana Rossini is awesome at fantasy football. Mike Clay.
Lost Matthew Berry to NBC, correct?
Yes, but they've recovered greatly with Clay and Field Yates and Daniel Dopp. Those are the fantasy football. They're like their insiders for ESPN. They're awesome. It's literally just they need a new app designer. That's just what I think it is. I don't think they really need a whole marketing campaign or look at us fantasy or anything from the NFL. They just need to fix some certain things.
Can I ask you a question? I participate in fantasy football. Hello, Fremont Fred. Every day I'm wrestling. I'll be back again this year. Is fantasy football still popular, but not as popular because of gambling being available to more people?
I still think it's incredibly popular. I think that
I just didn't notice as many magazines this year.
Okay, well, it's all digital now. I will say this.
That sucks.
you can the
Nebraska Football Media Guide being digital sucks.
Oh my God, couldn't agree more. There are some things that are made that should just stay paper. I totally agree with that. But you can go on just ESPN. If you go on I'm pretty sure if you go on ESPN.com right now, one of the top bars on the pull downs is fantasy. You can just hit the fantasy and it'll show you all these different fantasy articles. So I don't think it's a magazine thing. What I do think though is I do think there's a little bit of a barrier for entry for fantasy football now because it's become so serious. And there are a lot of people who are massive fantasy football
You don't want to
guys.
lose. Look at your punishments.
Exactly. Look what I have to do on Friday. I have to drink 12 beers and eat 6 hot dogs and bowl a 120 in order to leave a bowling alley. That's not fun. And it's a lot. It really isn't.
For some people that do that on the regular bowling league, it's like every night.
Easy.
I'm
Let's
not
go, rookie.
I'm not the guy from the Big Lebowski. So that's not something that I do.
I won't start quoting.
You can.
Your Big Lebowski.
I've only seen it once,
Okay,
like
that's
10
fine.
years
Oh,
ago.
that's
I
fine.
can't really rattle off.
Cool in the
quotes.
gang, not somebody that's in that.
But there is a skill gap in fantasy football, and there are people who take it way too seriously. And I could see how, like, I would never want the league that I'm in now. I would never want to invite anybody into the league who hadn't played before.
Gotcha.
I would, and that's, I think, both of the leagues that I'm in.
I think, and I like fantasy football. I'm more into my fantasy baseball than I am fantasy football. But where I've shifted is the survivor pools, where I'm all in on those.
I love them.
So it's almost, to me, the same level as fantasy football. Not there yet, but in terms of my interest and my studying.
Okay. I love it. I was in the final, group last year for Survivor Pool. Like, I think it's fun. DraftKings, by the way, has a Survivor Pool that you can just enter and you get prizes for like how far you go.
You know, Circa's a big deal. I'm thinking about joining the Circa deal.
What's Circa's big deal?
Circa has a major, it's significant buy-in, but it is a major, well, they have the side on the wagering.
Okay.
But then they do have a survivor.
I'm going to look into that. I love, but I don't think the Survivor Pool is nearly as popular as fantasy football. I still think fantasy football is king.
Yeah.
And there are people who have been doing fantasy football for so long and have been in leagues now that have lasted 10 to 15 years, where it's almost as if I don't think, because now you can bet on the games, you're like, oh, I'm not going to be in my league. Because at a certain point, it becomes less about the football and more about the league.
Kirsten Bernthal Booth. Coach Booth is going to join us coming up at 8:30. Major announcement today by Love B. It is now Love B Nebraska. Jordan Larson has an ownership stake. She's going to play this year. I think last time I checked, she was going to play. Lexi Rodriguez will be back. But Coach Booth now has a job title and a big one. So we'll talk to her coming up at 8:30. Mike Eckler. So Andrew Marshall yesterday spoke, who probably in line to be the starting cornerback opposite Sierra Wright, the pro from Idaho. That kind of rhymes. The pro from Idaho. But he talked about playing on special teams. Could Mike Eckler turn the hardest job in the staff that you have into the coolest job where people want to be part of it?
Yes.
I think special teams coaches have the hardest job from the standpoint of not everybody wants to be there. They sometimes look at it as a punishment, and you're taking guys from offense, defense, and they have to do things outside of their normal position groups. Okay. They gotta do extra time.
They gotta buy in.
Not everybody goes, oh, it's cool to be on special teams. Just listening to people early on in the camp, guys that talk about Mike Eckler, who's, got more energy. He has so much energy, he could light the state of Nebraska. Is that they've made special teams cool again, that people want to be on special teams. And I think he has the right demeanor to be a special teams coach.
Oh,
I don't think you can be like a Millie Mouth, like special teams coach. I think you need to have some screws loose to be a really good special teams coach, because you have to be attractive.
Well, first off, special teams in itself is screws loose central. You are running at each other at full speed with pads on, trying to hit another guy as hard as he possibly can so you can hit another guy as hard as he possibly can. Well, I mean, that's the mundane way, the very nuts and bolts way of describing that. But what I loved about Eckler when he came out of the podium and talked for the first time was he goes, yeah, when we were at Tennessee, we had these top units and we were using walk-ons and non-scholarship guys, and we were out there dominating first-round draft picks, NFL draft picks. Like, that's how we do it. And I think that's how you make it attractive. You make it okay, hey, these group of guys, you may not play a lot, right? You may not be on the 2 deep. in terms of being on defense or being on offense, but this is your opportunity to get on the field. This is your opportunity to make an impact. This is your opportunity to affect winning.
Mhm.
And so when you have that, you get more buy-in from those guys because they're like, all right, I want to play football. This is my opportunity to do it, which is the exact opposite from what Ed Foley was doing. Because at one point I was at Ed Foley presser and he said, yeah, I mean, I think it was the punt unit. He was like, yeah, the punt unit, you should have seen all the black shirts out there and all the starters out there. Right. It's a completely different mindset from where they were 2 years ago to where they are currently now in terms of how they're attacking it.
Just think, Matt Rule kind of had to be forced into talking to Eckler.
I can't. It's crazy to me that it took because too, it was also confirmed by the transfer portal because they went out and they got a punter like under Foley when Foley was still the special teams coordinator. And then he had to go out and get Eckler. And then they had to tell that punter, hey, you got to go. We're getting a new guy. I can't believe after 2 years and piss poor performances that it was like a forced thing.
Well, forced to hire Mike Eckler.
Oh, sure.
Rule doesn't regret it, but when everybody's telling you this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy, and you're like, I don't know. That wasn't my idea. And then people are like, no, he is your special teams coach. He's like, okay. And then you hit it off and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's going to be really, really good here. No, the thing about Rule, even with Satterfield, is if he's very, very loyal. We have seen this around here before. Kevin Cosgrove comes to mind. Sometimes you are loyal to a fault with your assistants, but there is something admirable about loyalty. Like, Satterfield's father was involved early in the career of Matt Rule in his football career. Garrett McGuire's father.
Yeah.
So you give people a chance because they gave you a chance and you are loyal to them. But sometimes loyalty can go only so far because you don't want loyalty to cost you a job because you stick with someone because, man, they've done you a solid. Sometimes you have to go, you know what? You'll understand. We have a good enough relationship. You'll understand. But in this case, that was a no point of return. I mean, you just could not. And as a result, you've got somebody who is one of the best. I mean, sometimes one door closes and one door opens, and the enthusiasm be on special teams. I think they're going to be really good on coverage units. I think the specialty guys will be fine. We won't talk much about them, but the coverage guys, I think we'll talk a lot about. I think there'll be a smart special teams group.
They have two guys in Marshall and Barney who one is athletic and one who's done it before. And they both seem like they're very excited to do it.
Well, they've been given the green light. They've also, we've seen enough around here where punt returners have had handcuffs on. I don't think they're going to have handcuffs on.
Just get 10 yards. Just average 10 yards for a punt return. Just average a first down.
What is, I got to do the math real quick. 15 punt returns for 73 yards last year.
Yeah, that's 4.8.
We'll take a break on that note. A little bit later, Brandon Vogel will stop by, a man of numbers, on Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Do you have to give me that look
Especially with this person.
anytime Ozzy Osbourne comes on? Jake, turn it back up. Oh, did you miss? Okay, it's fine. It's okay.
Yes, I
Jake.
turned it off.
It's fine. You're fine.
Heart attack. I think it came out yesterday. That was his cause of death. Was the heart attack?
I thought you were saying like the Heart Attack album came out yesterday.
No,
37 years ago or something.
No,
I didn't know that you were referring. That's why I was about to say. I was about to talk.
he passed away.
No, I am. I
Okay.
am aware of that. People made me very aware that when he died.
Donnie here, Ozzy gone.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
We don't have to rehash bad moments.
Oh, it's just refreshing. By the way, we picked up an inch of rain here in Omaha in the last 40 minutes.
I went outside because
Random?
yeah, no, I went outside because I thought that I had a computer. I left my computer cord at home and I thought it might be in the car and I got drenched. I got violated by it. Like I'm still wet right now.
Okay. People think I take things out of context.
That is you taking it out of context.
No, there was a lot of stuff going on in there.
I went outside, it was raining, I got wet. That was all that happened.
That's how it happens. It usually is how it happens, unless you're just like, you're speedy, already got an umbrella. You don't strike me as an umbrella guy.
No, I am an umbrella guy.
Yeah, umbrella guy.
I took
I would have looked at you and said, probably a young kid poncho guy.
God, no. I've never worn a poncho.
Wear the poncho. Or wear the or you know, maybe the garbage bag.
No, God, no. I own raincoats.
You don't know what it's like until you've worn a garbage bag.
I pride myself actually on the amount of raincoats that I own because I'm a fisherman. And so you have to be prepared. And the best time to fish, everybody knows, is when it's slightly raining and cloudy.
What are you, off of Cape Cod out there on the Atlantic?
What do you mean? I have some nice raincoats. I literally have 3 different raincoats. I have a Nebraska raincoat as well. It's a little fleece that you put over a hoodie, and it looks great.
Speaking of Nebraska, you guys get official emails from the Nebraska Athletic Department.
I do.
Did you see the one that came yesterday?
I did not.
I'm waiting for the tickets. Kind of interesting. They promote all their sports. So I think there was a soccer season is starting. John Walker's back for another year, which probably doesn't get as much run. John Walker has been at Nebraska through many, many athletic directors. There was an email, and this is not, I think if you sign up, if you opt into the email from Nebraska Athletics, you get their promotional stuff.
Yeah.
It was an email promoting that VIP ticket packages are available for Canelo Crawford.
Whoa.
Yeah, that came from the Nebraska Athletic email.
Really?
I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it's actually pretty smart.
I think it's genius.
Now, they can't be happy that Bud all of a sudden said, I'm going to go up against Houston Christian. But it is what it is. The lesson learned here is don't play Houston Christian. Do not play schools that at the 50-yard line outside the fence have a CBS. Okay? Don't play those schools. But
don't you think it's actually perfect that if he were to pick a Nebraska game day to fight on, that it would be the Houston Christian game?
I believe that Bud is selfish because there was an open Saturday 2 weeks later that he could have played on.
I don't think Bud can go to TKO and Dana White and say, hey guys, by the way, the Skurs play that day. Big game. Can't have this super mega fight that might save boxing on the date that you prefer.
Well, it was originally supposed to be on Friday, and then it got moved to Saturday.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean,
he was trying to get out of it.
So they sent out an email promoting VIP ticket packages that are on sale. It came from the Nebraska email, which I think was very smart for whoever was involved here. Maybe it was Netflix, because remember, it's going to be once in a lifetime on Netflix. That these are not single tickets. These are the VIP ticket packages. I think it's a way to get to a new audience to say, hey,
smart.
Nebraska, will you help us promote this? I mean, maybe we'll see for the Akron games some promotion in stadium. Who knows? But I went and looked at some of these packages. Official tickets, floor and floor riser seating, fight night, ringside photo, press conference access.
Whoa.
Ceremonial weigh-in access, official Canelo Crawford fight poster, all-inclusive pre-show hospitality with legend talent appearances, all in pricing, no hidden fees, starts at $5,000. If you'd like to be in a suite by the seat, $7,000. But this came out through the Nebraska Athletic email, and I thought it was a really, really smart idea to try and reach a new audience. But how many people are going to jump on those prices? You can have the bronze package, which is official tickets, mix of lower, mid, or upper seating, dedicated entrance, commemorative credential, printed commemorative ticket. That only costs you $551.
Oh, that's not
reasonable. That seems reasonable.
Like, that's actually not terrible. Now, 550. Wow.
You thinking about it?
Well, I thought it'd be way more. And I feel like some of the tickets that I've seen, like in the nosebleeds, that don't cost any, like don't come with any of that kind of cool stuff that you get there, has cost pretty similar to that price point. So I'm very surprised that that's $550. I think that's too much for a ticket to any sporting event, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I'm not the type of guy who's looking to spend, upwards of $500, $600, $700 could go to a sporting event. That's just me. But for what you're being given, I think that's actually a great deal. I think that too, the 7,000 and the 5,000 ones, once again, I would never spend that money. But for someone who might have the money, I thought it would be way more expensive, if I'm being honest. I thought the one without the suite would be 10 and the one with the suite would be like 15. So that's actually kind of.
You think Nebraska agreed to send it out to their email database as long as Bud was huskered up?
Oh, probably not. But it'd be really funny if this was like a you scratch my back, I scratch yours type deal. Like all of a sudden Netflix has like they're streaming a Nebraska game, or it's like they're doing like promotional, like during the NFL Christmas game or something like that. They're promoting something about like Nebraska athletics or whatever. That'd be funny. That's very interesting that they did that.
All right. Coach Booth coming up in about 30 minutes. Big morning for Love B here in Omaha. They're now Love B, Nebraska. Not bad when you have Coach Booth and Jordan Larson are combined together on an announcement. That's a pretty good day for that organization and that group that calls Ralston Arena home, and we'll be back for year number 2. Big news in volleyball. And then the volleyball poll comes out this morning. Or, yes, I think Lincoln told me 11 o'clock. It comes out. So Nebraska could be
should be number one.
Number one or Penn State. Probably Nebraska, Penn State, Kentucky.
Texas, are they not in the top 5 this year?
They'd be in the top 5. I think we'll have 4 teams out of the Big Ten that could be in the top 10.
Wow.
And the Final Four, remember, is in Kansas City. You know what that means?
What's this year's theme? It's not Run for the Roses. Do we know what the theme is yet?
I don't know if DBK is a theme person.
I kind of like the themes. I always like it when the coach gives a theme.
Yeah, John Cook's a theme guy. I don't know that she's a theme guy.
Should we ask her that at a press conference?
I think it's
Coach Busman Kelly, are you a theme gal?
I think it's a fair question. We'll maybe ask Coach Booth what she's thinking about this upcoming season, because Brian Rosen has begun practice this week after 3 years as the assistant coach under Coach Booth. He is now in charge of Creighton with some new faces, but the same expectations. I'll be curious to see where Creighton will be ranked in the preseason poll. We'll do all that coming up in the next hour of Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in, Gary and Matt. Jake is in this morning in the musical chair. It's still pouring here in Omaha. I would give you a little tip here, not to steal anything from Peter, who's doing traffic today, but Saddle Creek has a tendency to flood when we have rains like this, so you might want to avoid Saddle Creek.
No, I would actually prefer
still torn up.
I prefer if you were just like, you know what, I am going to take Peter's job, and you just go and do traffic. How funny would that be if the next traffic report is, I'm Gary Sharp?
I would say the same thing over and over. Dodge is backed up at 72nd. Now, as you approach 90th, you're going to find some stalls there. And as you make your way on Dodge Expressway, remember that old Smokey could be sitting by the side of the road. So you're going to want to watch your speed as you are headed west. But if you are eastbound on the Dodge Expressway, it's going to back up as you near 144th. And then, of course, the mess that is I-80 around Giles, that is a complete boondoggle that they're never going to fix.
No.
And we went through a little bit of a stretch, maybe a day or two, where the interstates were not torn up in this city, but now they're all torn up again. Also, good luck to anybody that's driving in a residential neighborhood, because before school starts and before winter weather gets here, we're doing all kinds of construction projects. So that elevated manhole, look out for it. You know what? That person that has the sign that says stop or slow, maybe look out for them. I'm Gary Sharp with traffic.
Attaboy. That was great.
I think I added a little bit of my, on my commute, they have torn up the entire road, which I think they just did like 4 weeks ago, and they've torn it up again.
You've
bad job on you.
When you said there were 1 or 2 days where the interstates weren't all scrapped up, that was probably during the 10-day College World Series period, and then we got back to work.
We need to talk about when 680 goes to 80. Okay, the backup there.
Oh, terrible!
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get to Gretna, anytime after like 2:30.
Oh, you might as well sit and listen to the zone.
It is awful. It's terrible. Do you know if you look up Peter Krenzer or Joey Colbert up on Twitter, I think it's one of them. I think it's Joey. You just search their name. It's somebody tweeting out, everybody's being an a-hole on the roads right now. I'm Joey Colbert. It's like the top tweet.
You got a lot of time on your hands that you're searching our great traffic guys.
I was trying to follow Joey on Twitter.
And you tried to find him.
I tried to find him. He's a great follow. He's an incredible follow. And so I just looked up Joey Colbert, and the top tweet was somebody being like, everybody's a terrible driver here in Omaha. I'm Joey Colbert. King Colbert.
Coach Booth, Kirsten Bernthal Booth, going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Big announcement this morning from Love B. It's now Love B, Nebraska. Jordan Larson has some ownership, and as they grow their league. So exciting news there. And Coach Booth will join us, come up at the bottom of the hour. You were saying you had your Netflix issue, so you could not watch the SEC series.
So mad.
Folks, you might hate the SEC, but you love college football. Go watch this. It is fantastic. Almost to the point where, God, wouldn't it be nice to have a game that was filmed or shot with the Netflix cameras?
Okay, so that is the one thing. So I've been seeing the clips on Twitter. Yeah. They shoot in 8K. It is startling just how clear that picture is. Yeah. Like, so there was the videos of Graham Mertz on the sidelines.
He comes across really well in this.
So that's what I've been reading, which is why I wanted to watch it. I feel like looking at the camera, I was like, I feel like I'm literally standing right next to the man. Like how good it looks. They're so good.
The presentation is really good. The access that they had, Billy Napier and Sam Pittman, because they're going through their season and they got a lot of access, like makes you think differently about them in the profession. But there's the part that I think they put out yesterday that you need to watch the whole thing. If you do, Brian Kelly's interaction with your former Chicago Bear, Trace Armstrong.
What?
So
never heard that name.
Trace Armstrong is the agent for Brian Kelly, but he also is the agent for a couple of players on the LSU roster that were thinking about leaving.
Oh, really?
So they are in the car with Brian Kelly, and he takes the call from Trace Armstrong, and they have a discussion about Brian Kelly's got to do the right thing, take care of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got some guys that deserve some money.
Yeah.
But it's if you don't know that Trace actually represents Brian Kelly, it was a really fascinating conversation.
That is crazy.
Because they're talking about money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about, well, you know, we want him here and the culture and all that kind of stuff. And Trace is like, well, you got to pay him. And he's like, like possibly going to lose him. Now, I think Harold Parkins is one of them.
That's got to
so
be
which they kept. But it was mind blowing of what now college football coaches deal with. That Brian Kelly's talking to an agent, and they're like, "Well, you got to make them happy, Brian." He's like, "We'll do the best, but you know what? You got to take care of us as well. Make sure they're going to stay."
That's honestly, so I didn't see that. I kind of feel bad for Brian Kelly in that situation. That's going to be a really tough and
little bit later. You will not, but
okay.
But in that case, yes,
that's going to be a very precarious position to be in, having to your partner then becomes your negotiator, and then
that's the new world of college football.
I know, but then what happens if Brian Kelly doesn't give Trace Armstrong and his clients what he wants, and now Trace has to go and then represent Brian and do Brian's work?
I think Trace said part of the clip that they had that Brian Kelly allowed on the show. He did say, because he called him BK. He goes, "Hey, BK, this is just business." And Brian Kelly was like, "Yeah, I know." But think about, I don't think Jimmy Sexton, who is the agent to all of the coaches, I don't think he represents players.
Is that a common practice in football in general, even in the NFL too, having an agent that represents both players and coaches?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, probably. Probably. It probably is more common than we think.
But I don't, because I always love it. I always find it interesting when you have coaches or you have agents that represent GMs and coaches, like they both, and then they have that connection and whatnot, and you start playing the dots between agents and stuff like that. Like, that's always interesting and fun. But I can never imagine representing you, but then now I have to negotiate with you. And now, I don't even know why you try to put yourself in that position. Because even from the agent's perspective, that is really tough.
Well, think about this. So I don't know this. So let's say Emmett Johnson. Remember, Emmett Johnson was going to leave. Did Matt Rule? There's where you go. Okay, I just had this kid on my roster. I love this kid. I want this kid to stay here. Can I still talk to him? Or all of a sudden he agent up, and I got a family friend that is like, "Is this Matt? Hi, Matt. This is Tom Wilkinson, and I'm represent." Does that happen? Where you're
have to imagine
that guy was just in my facility yesterday. We got a great relationship. He's now in the portal. I want to talk to him. I don't want to have to go through you. I don't know you, but I know this young man that I've had for 2 years. That's got to be something new, right? That all of a sudden a guy gets into the portal and he maybe comes back, but he wants a little cash, but he's not going to talk face to face with you. You now got to talk to his agent. If I was a college football coach, I'd be like, what is going on? Oh, I'm going to the NFL because we have people to do that. The coach doesn't do that.
No. Well, and then and also too, that's why Coach Rule has gotten a general manager now. Because now Pat Stewart gets to deal with that, you would think. But you have to imagine, right, that there probably has been an agent who said to a player, "Hey, don't talk to anybody at the facility. Don't communicate with them. I'll talk with them. It's good for your leverage if they can't talk to you, and then I'll come back to you and I'll give you a deal."
They have, you come on an official visit out of the portal. The negotiating, once they leave campus and you have them one-on-one, is over. You're not negotiating with them. You're negotiating for them through somebody else. Welcome to NFL Light. Well, it's not for everybody, but this is it's a fascinating, because Brian Kelly's in his car. It looks like he's driving. They kind of show the background of Baton Rouge he's having this conversation, and it's about players on his roster.
So
I was like, okay.
Matt Rule was definitely, and said this during interviews. This was early in the offseason. He said that everybody compares this to the NFL. And he's like, I don't agree with that. I don't see that. I would love to know now. Now, things have changed since then, since he said that. So I'm curious as to maybe if his position has changed. But if he still thinks that, what step are we away from this not being NFL? Because it is.
I don't know. You got to say it out loud. It's NFL Light.
It is.
Whether you like it or not, it's here.
But
we have free agents.
I don't understand. For the people who may say that this isn't like this. There's still so many different things about the NFL and like college football. It's like that list is dwindling down.
Nebraska has an NFL team. They play in Lincoln. That's what it is.
They do.
They got a venue that's a professional sports venue. Okay, they got a lot of money. They're Nebraska's professional football team. I know we want to, and then there's still certain things that are still collegiate, and we cling to, and that you have on Saturdays that you don't get on Sundays. But I don't think you can put your head in the sand and say I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to get passed by. You just have to find the balance of this still is college. There still is. Am I going to give an unproven 18-year-old kid a lot of money?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm giving a rookie that I drafted a lot of money, at least I have something I've seen. So you have to find the balance between it's still college football, it's still college athletics, but it's a lot of professional stuff.
Well, this is half joking and half serious, right? But isn't this why like you want to keep the band around? Because you seal that, like, there are still those things that keep it collegiate.
From yesterday's discussion.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of why you want to keep the band around? So you're not like, so you kind of cater to the people who aren't very happy that it's NFL light, that are like, oh, we still have some of these aspects.
Did you ever answer my question yesterday?
No, I didn't. I don't want to.
Okay.
I think it's an impossible question.
Nebraska had to cut a sport or cut way back on the funding for the band.
I think you have to keep the band. You have to keep the collegiate aspects of college sports.
I hope the band never goes away, because if the band goes away, I think it impacts the marching bands in the state that are in high school.
Without a doubt.
But it's not the same as it was 4 years ago. The funding is different.
I to a lot of people, that the whole just this college football just turning into the minor leagues of the NFL is off kilter. And I think fans, for the most part, have done a pretty good job of adjusting with the times and being like, okay, maybe this isn't the way that I want it to be, but this is what I have to deal with because I love it.
We're back with more of Gary and Matt with Jake after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we are a day away from preseason football.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders, must watch.
He actually is.
Yes, I will watch the Browns.
I'm actually very excited to watch him because I'm okay.
Okay.
I might lose a lot of credibility here. Okay.
Okay.
Am I the only one who's kind of starting to root for Shedeur a little bit?
RG3 is right there with you, but he's set up to fail according to RG3.
Well, I mean, in a way, yeah. He was drafted to a team that had already drafted a quarterback before they took him, who also already traded for a quarterback, who also already signed for a quarterback.
How many guys that can play quarterback in the NFL are not playing quarterback right now that are backups? Doesn't usually the best quarterback usually play? Very rare that the backup quarterback is better than the starter in the NFL.
Yes, good point. But also, too, I think it would be way more advantageous for Shedeur Sanders if he was just the spotlight. If it was like, hey, we are getting you ready. You will be the quarterback for the future at some point. Not you got to take reps under Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. Like I feel a little bit bad for him.
I'm excited to watch him perform for the Browns and every other team in the NFL that might need a quarterback. So I will watch that game.
Eagles.
I actually think he'll be okay. I would love to listen to the Cleveland radio Friday morning and the overreaction to what he will do. But preseason football begins tomorrow, and then tomorrow we are 3 weeks or
11 days away from being 10 days away.
Okay, before Nebraska and Cincinnati play at Arrowhead. Coach Booth's going to join us here in the next segment, but I want to get this email into the Equitable Bank inbox from John. You guys were talking about our traffic guys. You were stalking Joey and Peter.
I was following them on Twitter because I was being a good coworker.
Like, what are they up to? You know what? Walk over there. You can go, hey, Peter. Peter is in a box today.
I already did. I go, you got a charger? He goes, no. I'm like, all right.
John wants to know, who's the traffic guy a few years ago that would say every morning that 680 to westbound Dodge was backed up due to poor engineering?
That's a good one. We got a bunch of idiots out on the road. That'd be great if Peter just went, Jake, you too. If you just went on the microphone one day, Omaha, we have an excessive number of idiots on the road today. Traffic is up 37%. How about you get your heads out of your butts and you start driving better? I'm Jake Janicek.
I wish I could do that. That'd be fantastic, but I don't know. I don't know if the sponsor would be a fan
legend.
of that. I could become a legend. I guess there's a guy. I think John Bishop told me about this. This guy that used to do like the thing of like being in the helicopter. He didn't last very long. I think I heard something like that. So can't do that. I don't know if we can have fun during traffic reports.
That person, yeah.
Or maybe one of you that told me about it, Gary.
No,
but
I would do.
What?
That's like being in the helicopter.
Yeah, you're in the helicopter. You do helicopter traffic.
I've never.
When you're merging with 680 and 480. Yeah.
That's a good dad joke.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Kirsten Bernthal Booth, who has a new job, will join us. An exciting morning for Love Bee right here in Omaha. They are now Love Bee, Nebraska. Coach Booth will join us next on Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. Huh? What? All right, welcome back in. As we've been teasing all morning, it is a big morning in a state that loves the sport and is very, very good at the sport. Love B is rebranded right here in Omaha. It is now Love B, Nebraska. And anytime you have Jordan Larson and Kirsten Bernthal Booth involved, that is a good thing. And Coach Booth joins us now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Beautiful day outside.
Oh.
Birds are singing.
Oh, hey, what's it? And for people that know you well, 22 years as the head coach, national power. And now, did you have a normal summer? What was it like to have a normal summer?
Oh my goodness. It was, yeah. I didn't know how the common folk live. I mean, I had weekends. I went on a couple trips.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was transformational. And I mean, I will say, I've told my coaching friends, I liked camps, but I didn't miss running camps all summer. And I didn't miss being on the road recruiting. So I am missing what's going on right now, which is in the gym with the team. Like, I loved that. But no, it was a delightful summer. Thanks for asking.
You can hear it in your voice, like the relief and happiness of having like time off and being able to do things. I'm so happy for you. I got to ask, do you have you felt like there's an itch at all to get back? Has that itch grown, or are you kind of like, you know what, I've done it, I feel good? Do you think if you don't have an itch now that maybe it will creep back in? How's that kind of dynamic been? Because you did it for so long, and now just all of a sudden it's, you're no longer coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've been good so far. I think when I'm going to be at the Penn State Creighton game at the first serve in Lincoln. Like, I think that will be hard. I am going to help out with my daughter's high school team at Elkhorn North. So I'm hoping to fill a little void there. But I will say I've always loved, I was that coach that was in the marketing office saying, what are we doing in the ticketing office? What promos, so I have enjoyed that. And so I mean, my master's was in athletic administration. I thought I'd move into admin way younger than I did. So, I think these are things that I've always thought I would enjoy. And so far I really have.
Former Creighton volleyball coach Kirsten Bernthal Booth joining us now, president of business operations for League One Volleyball. One more on Creighton, because your assistant, who has been next to you for the last couple of years, Brian Rosen, takes over. How will you balance, like, being an ear for him if things come up, or players that you recruited and have developed a relationship with, and then looking and going, God, that's Creighton, that's my program, to also being like a fan? Like, how do you think you'll balance that as this season unfolds?
Well, I really want to try to do it well. And regardless of how I'm emotionally feeling, I want Brian to know that and Angie and the whole staff to know I'm a phone call away. They know I like to give my opinion, so I will always be up for that. But I never want to be overstepping. And if a player reaches out, my intent will always be, I'm not going to be that person that you just call to complain to, right? Like, it would be a proactive convo to try to help the program, help the kid, of course, but handle it in an appropriate way to advance the team, just as I would have as the head coach. So it is going to be hard, but you do hear horror stories of the coach before you destroying the next coach. And I really, really want to work passionately to, and that's not only helping like on the court and with the team, but with fundraising and all those different things, so that, I care a lot about those young women on the team, the future of the program, the institution. So that's a big priority for me.
All right. So a selfish thing here, because I'm a huge fan of both of you. You do know that this is going to be really, really odd this year, that you're not on the sidelines for Creighton and John's not on the sidelines for Nebraska.
Yeah, I would say this. Both programs hired well. And I think both programs are going to move forward from our departure. Obviously Coach Cook is amazing, but Danny's amazing. And so that program will not skip a beat. I mean, you look at both teams, and obviously Brian's fantastic. He was who I wanted to get the job, and neither program lost a kid to the portal. That's
awesome.
unheard of
Crazy.
right now. So I think that tells you about the culture of the program, the commitment of the players to each other and the team, but also, in our case, Brian was already there, and in Danny's case, the reputation as a former player and all, the whole staff staying, that there was some continuity. And I think nowadays you're going to see that.
That's
really important.
Thank you. Kirsten Bernthal Booth joining us, former Creighton volleyball coach, but now new title, President of Business Operations. Big announcement for League One volleyball today with the involvement of Jordan Larson and a part of our new ownership group right here. It's now Love Be Nebraska. For people that are familiar with the first year, now transitioning into the second year, how big of a deal is this for that organization and then the organization here along with your involvement?
Well, it's transformational on the model that, Love is set up a little bit different. League One Volleyball is what the acronym is, that it started at a corporate model. And the luxury that I think gets missed on this model is that they could pick volleyball hotbeds to put teams. So we have 6 teams around the country, and they're built around youth volleyball, which is another very unique piece to our league. So you have anchor clubs, so you've got a fan base and future players, and our pros are interacting with the youth, not only the club that's in town, but the other clubs too. And the model has always been, I think a lot of people, the perception was it's going to stay at a league level forever. The model was always to eventually go to ownership group. Obviously, Austin went, David Blitzer, who owns the Spurs, just, purchased the Austin group, a couple months ago. And then this purchasing, obviously Omaha, Austin, University of Texas are volleyball hotbeds and really places that ownerships wanted to be. But I think you'll see, more sales going in next year and so on and so forth, and then potential expansion.
What's your vision for the league? When you sit down in that chair and, with your new title, what do you envision? What is your goal to create this league into what?
I think there's 2 pieces. I'll be, leading up the Omaha market, and keep in mind, my stuff will be on the business side. The players and all of that will still be run at the league level. So that'll be a huge primary focus. But I think the thing, we were just on a call with the Austin group, the other big focus is we have to be focused on building the league. So we need to be sharing, because Omaha can be great, but if not everybody else is great, the league does not make it. And that's why I selected Love, because I feel like the model is set up that we want that all the teams can be successful, because you can't play in front of a huge crowd here in Omaha because we are a hotbed and then not be drawing other places in the country. So I think our model sets us up, again, being in volleyball hotbeds. There's a team in Madison, again, University of Wisconsin, Salt Lake, so there's some places, Austin, that are known for volleyball, and that's a really big priority from the leadership as they pick future cities.
Is the result of, and we have 2 really, if you're a volleyball fan in this city, you are spoiled, because you get Creighton and you get Nebraska and you get Omaha, and then you get 2 professional leagues. Is this a direct result? Because we know what the money is for what franchises are going for and what money is being exchanged. Is this a direct result of what you and many others were able to do in the last 5 to 10 years at the collegiate level to grow volleyball in this country from college to pro, where these former college athletes, they can now stay home and play and make a little money?
Yeah, this is, when people are saying, well, what about, the Supernovas in town? Here's the fact. I love volleyball, and our women, like you alluded to, have always, after their college career, had to go to Europe or Asia if they wanted to continue to play. And that's what drives me, is that now little girls, not even little girls. You talk to Nora Sis and Kinder Waite, who were playing professional volleyball last year. It wasn't until about their sophomore, junior year in college that they were like, oh my gosh, this is a possibility. It's happened that fast. So And 100%, the reason pro volleyball is taking off, and multiple entities obviously are trying to seize the momentum of women's sports, but because they're seeing what's happening not only at the NCAA level where it's booming. I mean, it's exponential growth every year, but also at the youth level. Volleyball, not just in Nebraska, volleyball around the country is the #1 girls team sport in the country, more than basketball, more than soccer, all these amazing sports that are having success on the professional level. More little girls are playing volleyball.
You know, you talk about putting your teams in hotbeds, right? And you talked about Austin and Omaha and Madison, and they all have obviously residual effects of fans of volleyball because of the college teams that are there. How important to you is it, you know, maybe trying to get those former collegiate athletes to those teams, a Wisconsin player to the Madison team, a Texas player to the Austin team, a Nebraska player to the Omaha team, and then promoting those players and trying to draw that college crowd back into pro volleyball?
Well, you can come work for us because you just nailed the business plan. So
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm kidding.
I do think that's, again, unique to our league because, you know, if you're in a franchise model, you're just going after trying to get the best players. With a league model, those things do take that into consideration. So if a University of Wisconsin star graduates, the first place they're going to think is, Madison seems like a likely place. Now, parity in the league, if you look at our league last year, I don't remember the numbers, but a huge percentage went 5 sets. So obviously parity is very important. People want to see competitive matches. But yes, I mean, you can imagine I'm going to be calling people and saying, hey, we need these Nebraska players. We need these Creighton players. Yeah. If they're good enough to play in the league, we need them here in Omaha. Absolutely.
And anytime you can have Jordan Larson and Kirsten Bernthal Booth's name attached is a good thing. Can you put in context, because we know Jordan and we've seen her from afar, from high school all the way through her Nebraska career and now an incredible international career. And she played last year, and she did say this morning that she will be back as she has the ownership, but she's also going to be a player. KBB, can you put into context, when you're 38 years old and you've played as much volleyball as she has had, to still be able to do that at a fairly high level, how difficult that is and what she's still doing?
Yeah, the 20-year-olds don't understand, but if you've passed 40, everyone understands what a remarkable task that is. Jordan, you know, gosh, it's almost hard to start talking about what Jordan has accomplished. But I think the things that, you know, the little kids need to understand, not that little kids are totally locked into this stuff, but Jordan, how she eats, how she continues to work out, you know, her body is her instrument, right? So it's a really good example of someone that has committed fully to being great. And I mean, how exciting for me to get to work alongside Jordan and so many other amazing players.
You know, it's interesting. You were the moderator at the DJ's Heroes Dinner or luncheon rather, a couple of months ago. And you talked about how because you're not coaching, you were doing some different things and having different experiences that you weren't able to have before, you know, when you were a coach. I was wondering, during the time of no longer being the head coach of Creighton to now having this role, what are some of the different things that you kind of dipped your foot in that you did? And maybe what are some of the lessons you might have learned from different experiences that you've had leading up to this?
Well, I haven't been out all that long, so I can't say.
Sure.
I will say this, you know, things that I'm chewing on, maybe speaking a little bit more. You know, I've obviously I've learned a lot, and I feel like Creighton was running, you know, a small startup, and you know, getting back into that, and you know, I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know what I was getting into, and kind of how I navigated that. So I'm interested in that. Really, I'm going to be maybe coaching some one-off teams occasionally. If it, you know, be through USA Volleyball or, you know, other entities. I've had some people reach out, so I'm chewing on those things. But I don't know. The other thing I'm going to do is go watch my daughter in college some, and go watch my daughter in high school, and hopefully be around a little bit more. So, but the other thing that I always say is I love to work. I mean, I'm wired to work. And now I work at home, so that's even worse because every night I'm like, I really want to go get my computer and work. But so it'll be a balance for me. I'm not ready to not, just pound the pavement and work really hard. But hopefully there'll be some balance in that.
One quick question here, and this is from a listener because they're curious with Nora Sis and Ava Martin just competing at the international level, Lexi Rodriguez as well. What does it take to make the 28 Olympic team for the USA women's volleyball? And does Coach Booth believe that we might have a local flavor? And we may have
quad. We have a new USA Olympic coach in Eric Sullivan. He was the associate head at Texas. He actually was here at Nebraska years ago. You guys probably remember that. Right now, there are lots of players in the funnel. And Nora and Ava have not been in it too much as far as that top tier. Jaylee Winters has been in it some. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Nora in it. I mean, Lexi's in it. She's been at VNL. So I am not a pro when it comes to understanding all the nuances of professional volleyball. But I do know right now they've got a huge group of women that they are considering. And maybe huge, might be 40 or 50. And they'll take them to different tournaments and it'll just start to whittle down. And do I think it'll have some local flavor? I mean, you look at how dominant some of the programs are in Nebraska. I think there's a decent chance of that for sure.
Well, Nora and Ava really look good playing in the Pan Am game, so that's kudos to you.
Well, not kudos to me, but they had a great time, and man, they're just. I mean, the luxury that I have had almost my entire career is the players that you saw on the court as incredible players and good they are. They were really wonderful people to just get to know as humans. I was actually texting with Nora yesterday. It was her birthday. So it's fun to see all these people have success and have the opportunity after college.
Well, fantastic. It's always great to talk with you. I'm glad that you get to be more of a full-time mom, but still get to be involved in volleyball where people can benefit from your involvement as always. So we appreciate it and anything we can do for you. And of course, now love Nebraska. We're always here for you, Coach.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
That's Kirsten Bernthal Booth, former Creighton coach, who now is the Director of Business Operations. Love B went from Love B Omaha. Now they are Love B Nebraska, as Jordan Larson has some ownership stake in it. And it's good to be in the professional volleyball world in this country. Two competing leagues. Supernovas had a big announcement 2 days ago, and now Love B this morning. And they'll be back. I would think Ralston Arena. They also played a little bit at Baxter.
Okay.
But Lexi Rodriguez will be back.
See, she's got to be on every billboard. And the one I wish I asked her about, and I tried asking her a little bit. I could have worded it better, but I wish I asked her more directly about marketing and how important that's going to be for the league and just getting that out there and making sure that people are visible and people know that the games are going on and how to get to the games and where to go to the games. Because I think that's, I mean, with any sport that you are trying to build up, right, that isn't one of the big four in America, it really is all about marketing and promotions and getting the name out there and letting people know, hey, we exist and hey, this is a good product. And if I'm Love B and I'm listening to that interview, I am absolutely excited when my president of business operations goes, I'm wired to work. I'm just made to work. All I want to do is work. That's the type of people that you need in those offices because there is a lot of work to be done when it comes to jumpstarting a new league.
It's I knew this day was coming for John. So seeing Danny on the sidelines for Nebraska won't be as jarring, even though it'll be, hey, where'd John Cook go? But not seeing KBB, it'll be like, when they're September 16th, Nebraska and Creighton play downtown, to see two new head coaches, both in their first year. I mean, that's wild. That shows you the longevity and the success of both Coach Cook and Coach Booth. I'm very interested in the ticket sales because yesterday for that match, if you are a Creighton Athletics season ticket holder, any sport or a J backer, you have a couple of day head start before the tickets go on sale to the public. So 10 a.m. Friday, the public sale begins for the Nebraska Creighton match, which probably do another big attendance number, but how much red will be inside of the CHI?
A lot.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be a lot of red. I do think there will be a lot of blue, though, too. I mean, Creighton definitely has,
They
in
sell
terms
out
of
so
momentum. Yeah, in terms
Uh-huh.
of momentum and what they've done the last couple of years. And I was lucky enough to talk to Brian Rosen when we had that Memorial Day day off show.
Mhm.
And it was just him and I did we actually did 2 interviews, but one made air. I think that as people get to know Coach Rosen more, and as the season goes on, and hopefully that they have success, that people are going to become really big fans of him. Because
Yes.
I talked to him and I immediately became a fan of him. He told me he was going to try and get me in blue, and I told him hell no. I told him no.
Whoa.
I said I'll go to a game. I'd love to go to a game and hang out with the coach.
I don't think you need to say hell no.
No, I was telling him, I go, Coach, respectfully, I graduated from Nebraska, so I don't know if I'll be in blue, but I won't go to a Creighton game in red. I won't be disrespectful.
This just gives you an indication of how much the sport has grown because as KBB was alluding to the AVCA showcase, which we gave away a prize package to right here on the zone.
Mm-hmm.
We have, right? The contest's still not going on. I thought we had.
I mean,
Is it?
that's
Hey,
maybe.
Hey,
Who
if it
knows?
is, go to the website,
Joey knows.
1620thezone.com.
Joey knows.
But it's going to be at PBA in 2 weeks. 2 nights, 2 matches on Fox, the next day on FS1, and then 2 on ESPN. The Creighton Penn State, which is a banger because I think Penn State might be 1 or 2 when the poll comes out today. So that one is on FS1, and then Nebraska is on Fox against Pittsburgh to kick it off on the 22nd, and then against Stanford on the 24th. They are on ESPN.
2 weeks. Wow.
Oh yeah. What is they're not fan day? Whatever they call it now.
Oh, the scrimmage thing.
Yeah.
Is that in a week?
I think this is the weekend. This weekend.
God, we are so close to sports.
I know.
We're always close to
that
sports.
aren't baseball.
We're always close to
We're so
sports.
close to sports that aren't baseball. I know this is a great time of the year for you.
WNBA, they made news again last night.
Yeah, can we stop doing that? Because now it's getting annoying. Now it's just weird and it's disgusting and it's just rude and I don't like it at all. But anyway, like great time of year for you, big baseball fan. For me, very moderate baseball fan. Very like, oh, I forgot Gerardo Parra was in the league type baseball fan. I'm ready for.
Don't forget about the Little League World Series, the regionals that are going on. Which, if we had a local team here, and Little League baseball in Omaha is not as big as other places, we just call it different. We don't play under that umbrella. I probably would watch, but I think it's odd because I know when we were on the crossover yesterday, we were talking about the game that was on. It's cool for the kids and their parents that all these games are broadcast by ESPN.
God.
I just don't think Rando sitting down to watch Little League baseball, that doesn't do anything for me.
Who does it? Who I want to know the people who actually are like, I love the Little League World Series and
Now,
I have to watch.
I'll watch the American final and then the final from Williamsport. But I'm not spending all day watching Delaware and Rhode Island play.
My dad does.
Iowa and
Jay.
My dad does, and it's really funny because when I was born, he literally asked the nurse. He said, "Can I have my son born by this time so I can sit down and watch the Little League World Series final?" I'm not joking.
Yeah,
you.
see, the Little League
My
World Series
dad
final
actually-
is good. The final's
Yeah.
different.
The finals,
But I couldn't
completely
believe that.
different.
Like, I still think it's funny. My dad's like, "Can you have my son born at this time? I want to be able to watch this
I
with
don't
my
know.
son."
If you're in the round of 32 matchup and you're like, oh my God, Hawaii's playing California, this is going to be a hell of a matchup. I don't know who you are.
So, did your dad get his wish?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay.
I was born about 6:00, and I was with him watching the Little League World. I mean, obviously, I didn't know what was going on.
What,
I was there.
What group of 15, 16-year-olds did our 12-year-olds get beat by?
I can't remember. I don't know what the game. I don't know.
That's
if
one of the
Nebraska was in
best
the
Johnny Tatro sketches
Was there,
ever.
Nebraska's playing the Little League World Series August 24th, 2000. But
My name's Juan. I'm 12, and my favorite
just know my
player is
dad was
Roberto
watching it.
Alomar, and the guy looks like he's 22.
Oh, Davenport was in it that year.
Oh.
They're really, really good.
Just look up the previous Little League World Series.
Well, I know
Yeah.
I know this because
They have
when I was playing Little League baseball, Davenport was always really good because they could draw from a bunch of different teams.
districts.
So they had a big all-star team.
Yeah.
Um,
Jackie Robinson team in 14 thought they could do that, and they were sorely mistaken.
the winning team was from Venezuela,
Oh,
which they got allowed back in the country. Like they're going to be able to bring their little league team.
oh,
Well, no, because they weren't going to allow them to come into the country.
Oh, because of
yeah.
that was an actual thing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
now they're good, and the Venezuelans will be here to participate in the League World Series.
Japan's still a powerhouse,
Has to be.
right?
Yeah.
Have to be.
Got to be.
I think some of the age restrictions cut down, like Taiwan isn't as good as they used to be.
I'm telling you, some of the best sketches are like,
Team from
clearly like,
Chicago.
okay, that wasn't an age thing. That was a district thing. It was a district thing. It wasn't an age thing. They were all 12. They were all okay. They just, you couldn't pull from Western Heights.
That happens. All right. Coming up in the last hour, right after the break, John Walker will join us. He might have a thought or two on what's ahead for Brian Rosen as the new volleyball coach at Creighton. Again, the volleyball poll is slated to come out today. Nebraska probably got a good shot to be either 1 or 2. How many Big Ten teams will be in there?
I have.
Where will Kentucky
idea.
be? Where will Pittsburgh be? Where will Kelly Sheffield be from Wisconsin?
Probably high. Probably all pretty high. That's my expert analysis.
I think you'll get 4 teams out of the Big Ten that'll be in the top 10. Watch out for Minnesota. Gophers are coming, man. John Walker and Brandon Vogel in the last hour. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, kicking off the last hour, we talked to our Wednesday friend. I think he's back from vacation. I interrupted his vacation last week. John Walker from the World Herald joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up, guys?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. I feel recharged, refreshed. I'm a little sun-kissed from a day at the lake.
Sun-kissed.
But I'm good. I'm good.
What lake did you go to?
Smithville in down near Kansas City.
Okay.
Went south and saw some family for the second half of my staycation, if you will. Which I guess it wasn't a staycation as soon as I left Omaha, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I went down there and got a pretty nice sunburn. And yeah, it was good.
Do you not know to wear a hat with that dome of yours?
I was about to say.
You got a beautiful looking dome. You didn't slap on the sunscreen?
Yeah, no, my girlfriend is like huge, and she's like, I don't want anything to happen to my skin. I don't like. So I was told, people advocated for me to put on sunscreen. I was like, I don't need.
Well, yeah, it's
I'm
healthy
okay,
for
guys.
you. It's not good for you to burn your skin, right? If you do that too often, there are diseases that are associated to that.
It'll be a really good tan once it's over.
Yeah,
so.
but that's not the point, John. It's about protecting your skin and not allowing it to get damaged. That's why you put the screen on.
I know.
You got to be better than that, man. There's sunscreen for a reason. SPF 60, baby.
Oh, wow. That'd be a little extreme.
No, it's not.
Okay. We just had Coach Booth on here in the last hour, and as she is transitioning to her new role with Love B League One Volleyball Nebraska now, as it's called right here in Omaha, the new era of Brian Rosen has shuffled in with the beginning of practice, and the huge matchup in Lincoln against Penn State is only a couple of weeks away. What's different when you walk into Sokol or the practice facility and it's Brian Rosen in charge?
Yeah, it's that was like literally literally the lead of my story from their first practice was that the first few steps into the gym felt unfamiliar, because you look around and it's not like the roof is drastically different, right? Like that's the same building, it's the same four walls, it's the same practice court, all the same equipment's in that building. But you take a good look around and there's no Kirsten Bernthal Booth. There's no Nora Sis, no Kendra Waite. You throw in the rest of the seniors last year. I know they were only here for a year, but Maddie Bilanovic and Elise Getzinger, like they're gone. And they're not coming back. Mm-hmm. And so it's odd. The people, the players and the coach who were so instrumental to Creighton's success over the first half of this decade, last season in particular, and of course for Booth over the last 2 decades, they're not there anymore. And so it's different. Now, as to how things feel, if you ask anyone in that building, they somehow tell you that everything feels the same, which I think is a credit to how the program, how Brian Rosen handled the abrupt transition in April. He had obviously turned down job offers, including one from his alma mater, to remain at Creighton, and that was before he knew that Booth was stepping aside. So that tells you how much he wanted to be here, wanted to stay here. So he got what he wanted, and then obviously the coaching staff, Booth's coaching staff that Rosen was a part of the past 3 years, mostly stays in place. So that helps, obviously. And then, yeah, it's not like Brian is an entirely, foreign face to the program. Like, he was there the past 3 years. He was integral. He ran practices. So as much of things have changed, guys, in some ways they've stayed the same. Which again is a credit to how the program has handled the transition so far.
When you are the coach after the coach, there's obviously an added element of pressure to continue the success, and both volleyball programs in Omaha and Lincoln are going to be experiencing that. Do you think that over there in in Creighton that they're feeling that a little bit, that there is that added element of pressure, there is that added layer of pressure? Do you think they're kind of taking it head on?
Yeah, I think they're kind of taking it head on. Like the night that Blossom, Booth, Rosen all stepped in front of the team in April and told them that Booth was stepping aside. I talked to multiple people who described that mood as like a funeral. Like everyone was very caught off guard. Everyone was very upset, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Rosen lightened the mood by stepping in front of that group and saying, like, who wants to go to a Final Four? Or like, we're going to go to a Final Four. And so it's like, he's not tempering expectations. Like, he knows what comes with this job. He knows that as good as Kirsten Bernthal Booth was and is, like, she was never able to climb that mountain, never able to kick that door down. And so there's pressure at Creighton to do that anyways, because it's really the only thing that program hasn't done. All of that to say, Brian Rosen and the Blue Jays are not shying away from that. Like, he has fully embraced that, and I think the team has as well, because he said on Monday, we understand what's coming up in our non-conference schedule, but the good thing is that the season doesn't end in August. So he's looking forward to it. And then he followed up and said, the season started a long time ago for us. Like, we've been working at this, and we hope it's going to go all the way until the end of December. So he's putting it out there right now that that's the expectation. So is there pressure? Sure. Any more than there was this time last year? Probably not, I would say. But the pressure is there for sure.
Let's, as John Walker of the World Herald joins us, a little basketball here, and it's tied into Creighton, but also Omaha, because Omaha and Murray State are going to kick off the year up at the Pentagon. I'm watching SportsCenter, one of the rare times that I watch SportsCenter, and the next thing I know, Mason Miller makes the ESPN top 10. So Murray State on a summer trip, they're up in
Oakland. They're the Oakland A's pitcher.
No, but did you see the home run that Gurriel hit off of him last night? 104 miles an hour.
I did.
But the Mason Miller that does not throw a 104-mile-an-hour fastball, but did something that I don't recall ever doing at Creighton, was a tip dunk, but it made the SportsCenter top 10 when it's August, and you want something. They're playing, Murray State is up in Canada on their summer trip. So we'll get to see Frederick King and Mason Miller and basically anybody that's connected to Creighton up at the Pentagon that first Monday of the season. What do you think? Like, I know he lost his shot a little bit and battled some injuries. What do you think he'll be like somewhere else away from Creighton? Like, will we recognize Mason Miller and go, who is that guy? Or we'll go, oh, that's what he could have been when we watch him play at Murray State?
I think it'll be more the former than the latter, simply because of what he'll be asked to do. Like, I think, and again, it's not like, not to discredit them, but it's not like Murray State has played anyone crazy in, I believe they're in the Bahamas. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think they've played anyone crazy. And I say that from experience, because when I was down at Oklahoma State, they went and played like overseas national teams and they would clobber them. And we were all like, oh man, like this is the Oklahoma State team that's going to get to the NCAA tournament without Cade Cunningham and this, that, and the other. And then they were terrible. So it's so hard to judge based on these international or these overseas national teams. But it seems like Mason Miller's role at Creighton as a spot-up shooter in the corner who occasionally crashes the boards is going to be drastically expanded at Murray State, as it should be. There are good hoopers everywhere. We all know that. But the fact of the matter is, night in and night out, the Missouri Valley will not be what the Big East is. So it'll be easier, really. for him to kind of create his own role. What's that going to look like? I don't know, because the fact of the matter is the best part of Mason Miller's game is his shot when it's on.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to utilize that. I mean, the guy led the Big East, was a 45% 3-point shooter 2 seasons ago. And we all know everything he went through last year and how that number kind of deteriorated as the season went on. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what his role ends up being. Same goes for Fred King, you know, all the same principles. He's gonna feast on Missouri Valley centers a lot more than he would have Big East centers. Like, there's a big difference between playing the center from Southern Illinois and playing Zuby Ejiofor. So yeah, I'm really excited to see. Creighton plays the 5th. They don't play on opening day. And so I don't know what our plans are yet. We got a little bit before then. But I might make the trip up to the Pentagon to go watch the Omaha Mavericks take on the Creighton State Race Jays.
Let's hope that doesn't start trending.
Yeah, please no. Hey, by the way, what do you got against the Salukis, man? You don't like Carbondale? The hell is that?
I've never been to Carbondale.
It's a good town.
I'm sure they're fine people and whatnot.
They're great people.
You know, they don't have Zuby Ejiofor.
No, they did have Troy D'Amico though, who then went to DePaul, and then Frederick King bullied him there. John, NCAA tournament didn't get expanded this season. Everybody's shocked about it. Everybody thought the NCAA or the powers that be or whoever the hell makes the decisions was going to make the stupid decision to expand the tournament this year. They have not. But John, is this still a when, or is it an if? Or is this still a when it gets expanded in your eyes?
Yeah, I think it's a win. It seems like the problem is now is that under the current media deals for the NCAA tournament, that the networks don't want to kick in a bunch of cash just to have 4 extra mediocre teams in.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. So I think someone at some point in time coughs up the cash. So I really do think it's a when, not an if, as painfully as I have to say that. But thank God that's not this year. Each year that we can push this off is a good thing. Because I think it'd be fair to say that this was as close as we'd ever been.
Oh, like, yeah.
We've heard about it, obviously, but like there were multiple meetings about this. Obviously closed door, so we don't know. But there were multiple meetings about this, and not just talking about it, about the decision itself. So we've all kind of been on edge until they announced Monday that they're not expanding officially. So it just seems like each off season we get closer and closer to expanding for whatever reason. The NCAA tournament is not a participation trophy. So I love it where it's at. I hope it stays there. But unfortunately, guys, you know as well as I do that it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that way.
72 or 76. We're not going back to 64.
Yeah.
All right. As always, we appreciate it. People have a lot of advice for you on sunscreen that we'll forward to you.
Thanks, guys.
That's John Walker, the Omaha World Herald.
Don't mess with the sun, okay? Sun ain't something to mess with.
I agree.
Just, go to your Walgreens or Hy-Vee, your CVS or your whatever. Go ahead, get the spray bottle, right? SPF 40, just every once. You don't have to do it 40 minutes on the mark, by the way. You just have to have the awareness and just be cognizant of like, oh, it's been a while. Let me go and reapply. This is how diseases happen. I'm not happy with. I hate the whole. Oh, my burn will turn into a nice tan. You shouldn't be getting burned.
Or a hat would do. Sleeves.
Wouldn't he look good in the bucket hat?
John Walker?
Yeah.
He has the he has the
bucket hat head.
Like, yes. Like, him and Happer, like the clean dome.
You got a bucket hat head
no,
too, I think.
I don't.
I've seen you in a bucket hat. You look good in a bucket hat.
I don't look good in a bucket hat. I have a regular ball cap hat. head.
Well, you have a string ball cap head. That's what you got.
I don't like that hat as much anymore
Why?
because the front of it stands too tall.
You wore that hat for like 10 straight shows.
Yeah.
I even saw you outside of the show wearing that hat. And you loved it. Now you're just off of it?
Yeah, it doesn't. I have another hat that I really, really like. That hat just stands too tall.
I'm glad that I ruined one hat for you because you've ruined about 13 for me. So
Well,
thank you.
You've stuck to your Tiger Woods hat.
Can't wear my Oilers hat or my Expos hat or my Eagles hat.
Now you can
or
wear
my,
your Expos hat because they don't exist.
It's a. I almost slipped there.
Wow, This is a 1620 thing.
I didn't. It's a crappy hat.
Okay,
there you
It's
go. Good
not
job.
a good hat.
Good
It's
save.
Not at. I don't like the tricolor. I wore it one show. It was terrible. The Oilers hat. That Oilers blue goes with nothing. And then same thing with I got hats that the colors just don't match up. Like, what is my Chicago Wolves hat supposed to go with? It's like the weirdest. It's the weirdest red maroon color I've ever seen.
I like that you're cognizant of trying to match.
I give it my best.
Okay.
I try to look good. Sweatpants and a sweater. That's kind of what I roll with. Or sweatpants and a hoodie. I don't want to look like a complete jamoke. Just a part jamoke.
Yeah.
Just 37% jamoke. That's what I go for.
John says SPF 60 coveralls either will work. They're essentially the same thing.
I hate putting it on my face though. I love those little like loose stick ones though, where they like you screw it up and you put it like on that way. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. There are some people who I'm around who they'll put the sunscreen on, but they won't rub it in, and then it'll like cake onto their face and their face will be white all day. Don't be that guy or gal, okay? Rub your sunscreen in. You don't want to be that person who's walking around looking like Casper the Ghost because you were too lazy to rub your sunscreen in.
Dr. McMaster.
Okay.
402-951-1620. Not a certified doctor or anything close, but he likes to give advice on air. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
that sounds like good advice.
Rub your sunscreen in. I don't think I have to have an MD to tell people that.
Some people need letters after your name.
I
But I
don't.
think you're good here. I think that's good advice.
What if I became Dr. McMaster? What if I got my PhD just to rub it in?
Ooh.
I could never get my PhD in anything. Let's just put that out there. I do not have the discipline, nor the intelligence, nor the want to become a doctor. Okay. No, I don't mean to disrespect any doctors.
There is Dr. Love on the air. We're going to talk some Dylan to you when we come back. It's Gary and Matt with Jake with Brandon Vogel around the corner as well on 1620 The Zone. Football is closer.
Over the kiss and a blanket. Jake, don't you dare.
Ooh, Jake, you might have done Matt dirty there.
And she calling a cab. And she telling her. And she calling bed. Sec. He's out in his chest. Now he takes off her dress. Now let. All right, I'll stop.
Why don't you sing it with a normal voice?
That's how you say it. That's like, whoa, no. Jake, put it back on.
We have a show to do.
No, we don't. This is
Troll. No, you were.
Jealousy turns into mania.
All right.
FCU. FCU.
Yo.
FCU. Feel like I'm back at the bar. Apple pie shots, baby. Slinky's on the house.
Check out my picture on the wall when you're there next time.
You do not have a picture on the
I got a picture on the wall, not very far from Jeremiah Searles.
Why are you and Jeremiah Searles pictured up at the bar?
It would make sense.
There's a legendary picture of me and Marquise Buford at a couple of years ago in the off season.
Okay.
In the off season.
Have you ever looked at? So let me first start this out. The Omaha World Herald Countdown has the number one guy. They announced it yesterday.
Oh yeah, Dylan Riley.
Dylan Riley, who's the quarterback at Nebraska, going into his second year. Big things are expected. He's going to be dicing up Cincinnati 3 weeks from tomorrow. That's what's hoped.
Yeah.
You ever looked at the recruiting class of 2024 when it comes to quarterbacks? Which Dylan, according to 24/7, we got to take care of our guys at 24/7. They need some love. Man, On Three's getting all this love. Josh Pate just got hired there yesterday. Herb Street's kid got hired the day before. Let's give some love to 24/7. The top 10 quarterbacks. Dylan is second. DJ Legway is first.
Yeah.
Julian Sayin, who started at Alabama, then transferred to Ohio State, or was an Alabama commit, and then is in the running to be the starter at Ohio State as a redshirt freshman. That's your top three.
Aiden Childs there?
Aiden Childs is not in the top 10.
Okay.
The only other guy that is in line to be a starter is C.J. Carr, who is at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
He was the 6th overall quarterback in the class of 2024. DJ Legway's getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
Florida had a good finish to the year. Florida ended up winning their last 4 games. They saved Billy Napier's job. They were better at the end of the year, no doubt. I mean, and it kind of coincided with Legway became a full-time starter. Now, he couldn't have Samford every day where he lit him up for 456 through the air. But he played at the end of the year. He was on the field. But all the preseason hype of quarterbacks, Legway's name is there.
Not one of the top. It's him and Sellers.
So Legway's numbers last year, 1,915 yards passing, 60% completion rate, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what the numbers for Dylan were?
2,900, 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 67% completion percentage, I believe is
28-19.
Yeah.
67, yes, and 13 and 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
by the way, Dante or Max Brosmer last year, those were pretty good numbers. Okay.
Max Brosmer.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the Minnesota quarterback?
Yeah, I was just looking. I'm on a list here. Garbers of UCLA and Altmaier here. They're just doing a comparison.
I gotcha.
Because I was also looking at.
I was like, how the hell did the Minnesota quarterback fall into that comparison?
Dante Moore's numbers at UCLA.
Well, they're not that great. They're actually kind of similar in a way. Here's why though. Lagway, deservedly so, by the way, and Florida have gotten more hype than Raiola and Nebraska. It's because Florida beat LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, and Tulane.
They beat 2 ranked teams.
They had one hell of a year to end it.
So, with that said, and that's what's missing from Dylan's resume. Dylan and Rule do not have a signature victory.
No.
They do not have a signature oh wow moment. Like if you're going to be in the running for a Heisman Trophy, everybody's got that one wow moment that you can remember.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's why they won the Heisman. But you can rattle them off. Like we have a few of Travis Hunter from last year.
Sure.
But with that said, do you guys want to put it in Sharpie that at the end of the year, Dylan, if the World Herald, and I think this would be pretty good. You know, they do a big countdown. They start with 50 and they go all the way down to 1. If they would do a postseason countdown off the previous year, would Dylan still be, if he is still number 1 at the end of the 2025 season, what does that mean? Or if you think that he won't, who would be somebody that could unseat him if they did this countdown, or just a recap of the top 50 players from 2025, just to compare where they had him in the preseason and where they actually kind of season they had?
I have 3 names that come to mind that could unseat him.
All right, talk Dylan to me.
Emmett Johnson could end up being number 1, I think, if he ends up having a great year.
Okay.
Riley Van Poppel.
Okay.
Just because, or Cam Lenhart, but
okay,
RVP. And then I'll throw in this maybe off the cuff one, but you know that we've talked about this, sacks. They've just lost so many sacks, and they really just don't have guys who've done it before returning to the team. What if I interest you in, like, what if Willis McGahee or Vincent Shavers end up having
now you have my interest.
End up having breakout years, and they both, become sack men or tackle for loss guys, or just absolutely anchor that defense. And you look back and you're like, wow, that defense would not have been at the level that they're at if one of those 2 guys weren't playing that way.
You got me with the last guy you mentioned,
Shavers.
Mm-hmm. Now he'd have to have a big, because Dylan will have big numbers, staying healthy, and be a hell of an accomplishment to get him to start all 12 games again. But the numbers will be one. But if, like, the ball knowers start to do this list and Vincent Shavers is in the top 3, that would mean great things for Nebraska. But I think it's important for Dylan to be your best player at the end of this year.
I think that he's got more of an opportunity.
And maybe if he's number 2, that's okay, because then there's, might be cooking with some peanut oil. But
sure.
Dylan can't be at the end of the year go, I think he might have been their 5th or 6th player. Yeah. Dylan's got to be in any of these rankings from here for the rest of his career, at least in the top 2.
I don't think it's good enough for Dylan to be 10% better. Like, Dylan's got to be 25% better, 30% better. Because 10% better is like, okay, you have 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And you have a completion percentage of like 69% and you get to 3,000 yards. That's an okay season. But for, like, the talent that he has and everything that he's been given in terms of weapons, coaching, and protection, he's got to take a big step. But if we were talking like
I just need 24 touchdown passes, less than 7 interceptions.
I think Raiola will be better than Lagway.
And at least 2 signature wins.
I'm very confident that Raiola will be better than DJ Lagway.
Okay, so with that said, if I'm a 5-star quarterback, which there are only 3 in that class, and they are the top 3, Lagway, I guess that does make sense. If there's only 3, they are the top 3. Lagway, Dylan, and Sayin, do you get 5-star results?
This year it'll be close. Next year, yes. Next year for sure. This year, I think they'll all take, like, Julian Sayin is going to have, I think Julian Sayin will have the best numbers out of those 3 quarterbacks.
Okay.
But it won't be because he's the best quarterback. It'll be because he's throwing to the best players in the country. And those guys are making incredible yak plays for him.
How about the last, the 23 quarterback class had 5 stars. Arch Manning.
Yeah. Dante Moore. Got to be one of them.
Nico.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold, who's now at Auburn.
Yeah.
And then Malachi Nelson, who was at USC, who is UTEP.
He was at Boise State, right?
Yeah, Boise State.
I thought
he was on the move again.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
He's on the move again.
Yeah, he's at UTEP.
Yeah.
He couldn't crack
wouldn't
at
that
Boise State.
Wouldn't that been fun to have that instead of Akron? Like, to have Malachi Nelson?
Yeah, no, I would rather have Akron. I would rather have the guys who can't get their GPAs high enough in order to compete in bowl games, and who's the 134th team out of 136. if you're not going to play a Power 5 team in your non-con, I don't give a damn what the level of your Group of 5 team is, or like your non-Power 5 team is. As far as I'm concerned, if you're not playing a Power 5 team, or you're not playing Boise State or Tulane or one of those like 4 really well-known power Group of 5 teams, just give me a tomato can and get a win. Seriously. I mean, there's really no. It's not a resume builder. What's the difference between playing UTEP and Houston Christian? When we go to the college football playoff, you aren't going to judge those wins any differently. Yeah. Now you have more of a chance to lose, sure, to UTEP than you do Houston Christian.
Arch is still at his school. Nico has transferred. Dante has transferred. Jackson has transferred. Malachi Nelson has transferred. That's the top 5 in 23.
That's rough.
But that's what happens. We see a lot of movement with 5-star quarterbacks.
If you look at 2024, I mean, Sayan's already moved, and he hasn't even played a down of football yet. I don't know, too. Like, you never know with Lagway and Raiola.
Someone should do a little look-see, a spreadsheet. This would be of 5 stars, where they begin and where they end, because that was a topic, and we'll make it a topic with Brandon Vogel because when Neri was mentioned yesterday. Brandon will join us next from counterread.com. All right, welcome back in, Gary and Matt. Jake here as well. 1620 The Zone, and our good friend from counterread.com, which is a must subscribe to on the Substack as we inch closer to the start of the season, is our good friend Brandon Vogel. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
All right, you're ramping up for the season. That is 3 weeks from tomorrow. We've got lots for you. Let's start at wide receiver. Why doesn't it just roll off the tongue that Ja'Cory Barney is wide receiver 1? Is it his size? Is it because Dane Key has played more football? But can we get comfortable if we just said, you know what, wide receiver 1 in this offense is Ja'Cory Barney?
Great question. I think a lot of it is probably the size piece of it, and we're a little bit conditioned to think of what you want is that 6'3" guy who is maybe as well, if you can get it, is as fast as Ja'Cory Barney, but can also just like jump over people. And I think a little bit of it is how he was used. You know, Nebraska knew they had a talented player, did what it could to get him the football. And in some ways, that's at odds with when you think about the top receivers in the country and even the top receiver at, you know, kind of any Power 4 school. That's kind of not the makeup. So I think that's some of it. I will say, and you know, that was kind of my view of it as well. Is like Ja'Cory Barney is a good and important player for Nebraska. There's some limitations there, but you know, and it's all kind of fall camp buzz. But hearing him talk and others talk about him, I feel like I may have undervalued him a little bit based on some of those factors.
Let's talk red zone, because I'm kind of spooked. I'm spooked by the fact that you have your 3 top wide receivers combined last season for 7 touchdowns. I'm spooked that your goal line back and your third down back is now playing at Kentucky, and the guy that you proclaimed would be your third down short yardage back is a soft tissue injury and probably not even the second running back anymore. And on top of that, you don't have a tight end that now you have athletic tight ends, but you don't necessarily have the proven, hey, red zone target tight ends either that are coming back from last. So I'm laying out all of the reasons to not be excited about the red zone offense. Where am I wrong, Brandon? Like, where is there any? Do you have any solace for me? Do you have any? Hey, hey, stop this.
Well, for one thing, I very much enjoyed that layout of the complicating factors because I think it's accurate. And any solace I can offer is not totally knowable at this point. So, one, I think in the red zone in particular, things get condensed.
Mm-hmm.
that's a place where you want that 6'3" wide receiver who just wins. And maybe Nebraska has that guy coming. We don't know yet, but they've got to be able to, I think, throw the ball better down there, or at least produce better results than they have recently. And you can look at some of Holgerson's past numbers and say, well, he seems to have a bit of skill at that, and hope that helps. That's kind of the most sure thing you can point to until we see these guys play. The other thing I would bring up is I think the O-line. So like, losing your kind of power back does hurt there, but I think the O-line has a chance to be pretty good. So maybe you make gains on the O-line piece of it. That maybe you don't have that classic bruiser who scored 12 touchdowns a year ago, or whatever the total ended up being, because Dante Dowdell was clearly that guy for them. We're down close, we're just going to give it to him because he's a powerful running back. Maybe O-line can help you with that a little bit. So those are the two pieces of evidence I would offer, though neither of them is a sure thing yet.
Hey, I'm glad yesterday in the discussion about defensive line, John Butler says we don't listen to y'all, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, they know what they have on the inside. But in 2023, the first year of Matt Rule with their defensive line, there were some guys that we knew their name, but we hadn't seen them play a lot yet. Guy like Ty, guy like Nash. But then we had some young guys and we had some portal guys. We had a Judy in there, a Lenhart in there. Yeah. Butler was still around. And they talked, if I recall, leading up to the 23 season, they talked about they would do with Terrence Knighton, they would scheme guys to develop them so that they got their maximum potential within the scheme. Now let's fast forward 2 years. That defensive line, I think, turned out to be a little bit of a strength as we got towards the end of 23. Isn't it kind of similar in 25? That we have guys that have played a little bit, but they just need experience. And I don't recall us being like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling in 23, like kind of we tend to be in 25.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. You do have, I guess, some guys. You look at like a Keona Davis, for example, a guy who got brought up yesterday as kind of that 23 group. I think if you're looking at it towards the end of the season, you felt pretty bullish about it because, oh, hey, Cam Lenhart's playing as a true freshman. So is Princewell and Monviolent. And that looks promising. But we didn't know anything about those guys coming in. In fact, you would have said, oh, it's hard to play on the defensive line as a true freshman. You're not necessarily, I mean, you might be looking at that with a couple of guys, but you've got guys who have been in the program now where you just haven't seen quite that production. So I would argue that's a little bit of a better spot to be in that. Butler's press conferences are always interesting. His reticence to mention individual guys, which I get and respect, it's totally his call. But in some ways, I think he made a comment. I don't have it exactly off the top of my head, but we want to be fanatical about getting guys to the ball. In some ways, I thought that's kind of summed up what this 2025 Nebraska defense needs to be, because it's hard to point to the numbers they put up recently and said, they're going to be that again. Don't worry about it. We know Rule traditionally has good defenses, and the presence of Phil Snow, I think, bolsters that even an extra percentage point or two. But in terms of guys you can just point to, you don't have a Ty Robinson or a Nash Hutmacher that you can point to where you say that guy's going to win 65% of his snaps, whatever it might have been last year, and you don't need to worry about it. You do need to worry about it, but you can perhaps get over that with, if they do end up looking the way John Butler wants them to look, and if it is kind of the sum is greater than its parts. That's kind of the path, I think, for Nebraska, and that's certainly true on the D line.
Can you even really put a floor ceiling on this defense right now?
It's tough. It's pretty tough because, I mean, how close were they to their ceiling the last 2 years would be, I think, the first one the first question that comes
I think pretty damn close. I don't know about you, but I think they were pretty damn close to it.
I would agree, especially when you look at kind of, Ty Robinson is a good example. Second team All Big Ten, great season on the two deep for the Eagles entering their preseason game. Great stuff. Like had the type of season he came back to have.
Yeah.
And second team All Big Ten. So I think like elevating the ceiling past what Nebraska was the past 2 years, you'd need more knowns. You need a guy on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. Not that that's like the Bible or anything, but it's something interesting to look at. And they don't have those type of players. In terms of a floor, that largely comes down to me to like Rule's track record and what is that? And I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I'm guessing he hasn't had many defenses like even in his rough years outside of the top 50. So those are really rough guidelines, but that I think you hit on the key point there, Matt, is like if we thought they were pretty close to their ceiling and there's a new coordinator and a bunch of new faces or at least young players, like don't just shade towards it might go down a little bit, but not too far.
Hey, one of those guys that before his career is over, if you're in Nebraska, you hope he ends up on that freak list is Winery, who got asked again yesterday, almost to the point where he's going to get asked about every time because we see what's there, and he was a 5-star guy. Needed a fresh start. Also sounds like he is needed to grow up. What was your reaction to John Butler's reaction to a pretty pointed question about, is he going to play?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it indicated that the process and Williams' own kind of stated reasons for needing a fresh start is in progress. So it's one of those where, there's so many kind of, I don't want to use the term unknowns, but wild cards with this defense where you can look at guys and be like, and a guy like Nwaneri always kind of goes towards the top of the deck there in terms of those wild cards, just because of the recruiting pedigree. But if he's not ready, like, or whatever the case may be, I don't know that it drastically changes my outlook for Nebraska because I've kind of always viewed him as a bit of a wild card. And let's see, like the tools are obviously there, the stature, all of the physical things, but he didn't play at Missouri, and that's still interesting in terms of what exactly that was about. So I think Nebraska, if that ends up being the case, if it's like he's maybe still 6 months or a year away, or he's a limited type of role, I don't drastically alter what I think this defense is.
Who do you think is the best player on the defense now? And do you think that we will consider them to be the best player in defense at the end of the season? Or will be someone?
Yeah, it's really, it's really tough to, and I've thought about this question quite a bit during the offseason. It's tough to identify a guy like Sierra Wright kind of has the momentum of that would put him in the running. Maybe Singleton, possibly. He has the experience angle, and he's trying to, if he has the type of I came back for this year that Robinson had, then yes, he's the guy. The secondary is really experienced and veteran, which is valuable. You look at it compared to some past Nebraska secondaries, and like I don't see that immediate playmaker there, and maybe that guy emerges. And if you go with the pure upside and potential pick, like I think you could throw Vincent Shavers into the discussion, but there's just so little to go on that it's hard to say like there's your guy, which is why the discussion of defense, I think, entering 2025 is so complicated.
Yeah, this is a defense that's going to have to get old pretty quick. Yeah. And it might be by halftime in 3 weeks.
Might be. Cincinnati, 3 guys on that freaks list. So.
Yeah, which was kind of interesting. I mean, Nebraska can't go another year without not having a guy on that. That's just not a great look.
No.
Because it's not like he has top 10. I mean, it's 100 guys.
Yeah. I mean, you got a guy from Northwestern on there. Yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
Spoiler alert, I think I'm probably writing about that for tomorrow. I'm kicking around a few
Oh, yeah.
ideas,
Nice.
but yeah, it's interesting because, as you mentioned, it goes to 100, and there's certainly some selection for like, well, let's work some of these lower level guys in, which I love. But yeah, it's kind of a fun topic to try and unpack.
All right, we can tell that it's getting to football season because I'm getting bang, almost back-to-back days of Counter Read into my email box. For people that want to subscribe, and you just alluded to something that may be coming here in the next edition, where can they go and what can they look forward to as we chalk another week off of the build-up?
Yeah, you just head to counterread.com to see what we've been up to lately. So our schedule for now has been Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That might change a little bit as we get into the actual season, but there will still be 4 a week. At least 2 of those are free, 2 are for subscribers only. So there's a great chance to check out what we're up to and see if you like it. It's a lot of kind of ideas and things that I'm grateful to talk about with you guys each week on the show. Really, truly am. And that's if you listen to this, that's a pretty good example of how I think about things and how Aaron and I try to approach things.
You're the man, BV.
It is great stuff. Hey, have a great week, my friend.
You too, guys. Thank you.
That is Brandon Vogel from counterread.com.
That guy's the guy.
He is a subscriber. The Substack, yes, he is. Counterread.com. All right, tomorrow is 3 weeks away, or
11 days from 10 days away, baby. Come on. It's also, too, we got preseason games tomorrow. Also, the Bears play the Dolphins on Sunday. How about that? The Chiefs play on Saturday,
they
right?
play in Arizona, yes.
Look at that. Come on now. Yeah. I got to read my Cardinals preview today. That's the team I have to check off my list.
Okay. All right. Well, the run for 4K begins, right?
Stop.
Can you add this preseason numbers?
Did you read yesterday's reports, training camp reports? Apparently they had the most physical practice of all time.
Yeah.
Apparently to get over having a terrible camp, they decided to beat the crap out of each other.
Why didn't Caleb practice yesterday?
He did practice yesterday.
I don't know.
He had a good
Are you sure? Because it was physical. He would have to sit out.
It was short yardage situations in which he thrived in because he just had to hand the ball off to Roshan.
Big thanks to Coach Booth, Kirsten Bernthal.
Yes.
Booth, her great involvement with Love B. It is now Love B Nebraska, rebranded this morning. Also John Walker and then Brandon Vogel. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
We'll be back again tomorrow at 6, 3 weeks before the start of the season. And what will we overreact to? We'll do that tomorrow when we're back in 20 hours. Crossover is coming up next.